Produced in partnership with SNLS News and listeners like you. Online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. I'm Mick Murrow with your latest edition of the Liberty Beat. Gold is trading at $1,287, silver at $14.94, and Bitcoin is trading around $4,869. Today's prices are brought to you by InnoScale. Take off with Managed Cloud. Looking for a safe, secure way to store your important files online? Let InnoScale handle it for you. Their high-availability cloud servers are the perfect solution for clients needing one or more secure, scalable servers with built-in hardware failover protection. For details, see them online at innoscale.net. In the news, 3 more women have come forward to the Washington Post to share their stories about their own encounters with former Vice President Joe Biden, bringing the total number to 7. The Mind Unleashed reports the women came forward mere hours after Biden published a video where he vowed to be more respectful toward women after a controversy over his history of inappropriate physical contact with women exploded onto the front pages.
Social norms have begun to change, they've shifted, and the boundaries of protecting personal space have been reset. And I get it. I hear what they're saying. I understand it. And I'll be much more mindful. That's my responsibility.
All 3 women told the newspaper that Biden's unwillingness to apologize for his behavior in his grand mea culpa video offended them, and said it has become clear that Biden was struggling to understand exactly why his actions were inappropriate. This isn't about sexual assault, one woman said. It's about power dynamics between men and women. Utterly shocking body camera footage was released Thursday, showing what led to one officer's arrest and felony assault charges, and the suspension without pay of 2 others. What started over an alleged noise complaint quickly turned into a gang-style beatdown of several innocent men. The Free Thought Project reports that police, March 16th, were responding to a call over a loud party when the incident began. For several moments, officers held down a man as one of them kicked him repeatedly. At one point, another cop stepped in and put an end to the beating. Had he not, someone may have been beaten to death. The Liberty Beat is sponsored in part by Brave Botanicals. High-quality kratom and CBD at reasonable prices with excellent customer service. Brave Botanicals is activist-owned and mission-driven, fighting for your right to consume plant-based medicine and natural remedies. Find out more at myBraveBotanicals.com. And right now, Liberty Beat listeners can save 10% by using promo code SNLS at checkout. This is the latest edition of the Liberty Beat, online at snls.news and libertybeat.news. I'm Mick Murrow. Your news now continues. The U.S. House of Representatives has voted in favor of ending U.S. involvement in the war in Yemen, but the bill is expected to be vetoed by President Donald Trump as the White House cites serious constitutional concerns. The Free Thought Project reports the House voted 247 to 175 in favor of the resolution to direct Trump to end U.S. military involvement in the war within 30 days and to end support for the Saudi-led coalition that it has been backing. Campaigners have organized rallies nationwide in order to give voice to the widespread public demand the report submitted to the U.S. Department of Justice by Special Counsel Robert Mueller be disclosed to members of Congress and the public with as little redaction as possible, without further delay. Spearheaded by a coalition of progressive groups, including Move On, Public Citizen, People for the American Way, and Indivisible, more than 300 rapid response events across the country have been scheduled to make it clear that people want the report made available to lawmakers and the public. In addition to the dispersed rallies nationwide, people in Washington, D.C. plan to demonstrate outside the White House Thursday afternoon to demand Attorney General William Barr release the full report to the U.S. House Judiciary Committee and as much information as possible to the public. Support for the Liberty Beat comes from the Conscious Resistance Network, featuring videos, news reports, and articles from a spiritual anarchist perspective. Experience the Conscious Resistance at theconsciousresistance.com. How would you like to have your business featured on the Liberty Beat? You can just send an email to libertybeat@snls.news for details. This is the Liberty Beat, produced in partnership with SNLS News and listeners like you. The Liberty Beat is online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. I'm Mick Murrow, reporting with the latest edition of the Liberty Beat, reminding you, spread liberty with a smile.
McDonald's is now offering bereavement prices, and a sexual predator gets tenure. This is the Onion Week in Review. This Wednesday, Samsung announced the release of its brand new really big television. Representatives for the South Korean electronics manufacturer told reporters at a press conference that the goddamned gargantuan of an electronics product boasted a variety of new features, including being super heavy and having a screen that was probably 100 inches wide for all they knew.
We here at Samsung think this new product will appeal to today's consumers who are looking for a television that's really huge. I mean, this thing is built like a Mack truck. You just really have to see it to believe it.
In other news, an important decision is sent up to the company's highest idiot. And an area mother doesn't see why Thai people need to make food so spicy. Today's Onion Review was sponsored by Bamboo Garden, voted the best family-owned Chinese restaurant in Idaho for 5 years running.
This is the Onion News Network.
All right, welcome to the Call to Freedom. It is, what is today? Friday. It is Friday, thank God.
April 5th.
April the 5th of 2019, and it is a cold, dreary day here in the Shire. They actually expect it to snow.
Yeah, I saw rain and snow. Maybe they said it might ice up on the streets a little bit.
Really?
Yeah.
I imagine it's probably going to be the last snow. I'm not happy about it getting cold again. It means oil is going to have to be purchased again, probably sooner rather than later. Which
it's supposed to only be like one night.
Okay, well, that's good. But I mean, I imagine that the next purchase of it will be the last one, at least until,
September.
Yeah. So that will no longer be a thing hanging over my head, which will always be an improvement. I, of course, am Arya DeMezzo of theanarchistshemale.com. Let's go with that.
Yeah, where are you from?
Yeah, well, Mississippi, apparently. And I'm joined in the studio today by
Michael Hampton from BitcoinHistory.com.
I actually also found out last night that, let's call him Thunderbuns, is upset. Well, not upset, but it bothers him that I call myself the anarchist shemale.
Why?
Because it's degrading, and I mean, it is.
You can't reclaim the word?
Well, that's exactly my perspective. I mean, he's not like, you gotta stop calling yourself that. It's so horrible. But he's like, but he has told me on like 3 occasions now that it bothers him. So that's awkward. I have no intention of ceasing it because, I mean, it is a unique brand that no one else is using. So
yeah, and they might not. That it's going to be. I mean, you can reclaim the word for yourself. It's your choice, but a lot of people just won't.
Yeah, because they have no interest in it because for so long it's been tied directly to pornography. But so am I. Not really. I am not on Pornhub. I don't think. If I am, I've never been able to find it. But there is some reason to believe that I'm on Pornhub. But I don't think I actually am. I just like saying it because it's funny.
It is funny. I never went to look, so I don't know. But maybe the listeners can go find out for us.
Well, someone said they were going to, and they never got back to me. So I'm assuming
they're still looking.
They may still be looking.
They got distracted by something, and
but I mean, if you look for like redheaded trans woman on Pornhub or something like that, you're not going to get a result from just some random streamer who would have streamed me on the one occasion where I think it might have happened. Mm-hmm. So because you're instead going to get search results of people who have watched the videos 40, 50,000 times or hundreds of thousands times because apparently there are a lot of redheaded trans people.
Who would have thought?
Yeah, and if you enter the word shemale or just trans or any of that by themselves. So, I mean, sure, if I'm on there, there's some kind of bizarre search criteria you could probably use to find it more easily. But even if I'm on there, it's probably only been viewed once or twice at the most. And I don't care anyway. They had a discussion, oddly enough, in the Discord chat last night at discord.lrn.fm about boobs and nipples and whether or not my nipples violate Twitch's terms of policy.
I don't know.
They do, because the way they word their policy is that it's female-presenting nipples, which, I mean, Ian is correct. It highlights the absurdity of the entire thing. I mean, I went topless through most of my life to the extent that some people didn't even think I owned shirts. Now, I obviously didn't do this in public, And I was not presenting as a female then.
Right.
But suddenly one day it was totally acceptable, and then the next day, oh no, it's totally not. Oh, Arya had a nip slip on Twitch. We have to screenshot this and share it. Which has happened.
Yeah. So is that what's on Pornhub? A nip slip?
I would hope not.
Oh, well, okay. I don't want to know then.
No, me having sex would be on Pornhub. If there is anything there, and I really don't think it is at this point. But no, the nip slip was captured by someone on Twitch and screenshotted and shared around. I think they even made a clip of it on the LRN channel.
Wow.
Yeah, but I mean,
I missed this.
It was back in like June. I mean, I didn't even have boobs then. I didn't. So I don't know what the issue was, but I was just wearing a dress with no bra, and apparently one of my nipples came out. And it was just a big deal for some reason. Well, like to the extent that Will was worried we were going to get kicked off of Twitch for it and things like that. First of all, they're not going to kick you over an accident.
Right.
But second of all, it's Ian and Free Talk Live during the summer will be shirtless almost every single night.
Right.
But that's not an issue. Right.
Yeah.
But if I wanted to come in here topless,
we would Ian topless on the show is an issue for totally different reasons.
Which, you know, makes me want to start. That does. Oh, my God. That's the hook. That is the hook for Arya Uncensored. I will be topless for every episode. Live on Twitch. Totally uncensored.
Oh, my.
Right up until I get banned.
Oh, my goodness.
But I think them banning me for that will be such a momentous thing that it will be its own fun. So that's it. That's what I'm going to do. Arya topless on Twitch.
Oh, my.
I mean, not that people will be seeing a lot, but
yeah, it's not like you have like G cups or something.
They're not C's or anything like that. They're very low B's, but I mean, what do you expect? Yeah. Anyway, so in the news today, Saudi Arabia sucks. They've arrested 2 dual U.S. citizens for being advocates of women's rights. The United Kingdom has gone mad, and Joe Biden apparently in a stunning move that shows just how far removed from the nation's pulse he really is, he decides that the best course of action right now is to make jokes about hugging women.
Yeah.
Now, the peculiar thing about Joe Biden is that yesterday he did this 2.5-minute long video where he said, I didn't know I was making these people uncomfortable. But if you go to joebiden.info, you will see there is absolutely no way that he was not aware of this.
Yeah, you could not be. We saw some of these videos yesterday. There's no way if you were in that position that you would not be aware that these women were sending out go away vibes.
Yeah, when you go to kiss someone or sniff their hair or whatever creepy things he was doing and they pull away, you're keenly aware of that. So I can't imagine any scenario in which he was just totally oblivious that he was making people uncomfortable. And if he was completely oblivious to that, it raises the question of why is he a psychopath? Why does he have such a lack of empathy that he can't read these obvious cues that people are giving him?
Well, you know, he's definitely in the right career for a psychopath.
He is. Creepy Uncle Joe, of course. I bet there's a creepyunclejoe.com right now that compels him too.
Yeah, there probably is.
I need to look into that. But for the moment, you can use joebiden.info to see just how creepy this guy really is. Caressing little girls' faces and things like that. It's extremely weird behavior. And for him to then go, oh, well, I didn't know I was making people uncomfortable. It's just BS.
Yeah.
It's like, dude, you knew.
There's no way you couldn't have known.
No. But the United Kingdom, apparently European Union leaders are lukewarm on a possible Brexit extension, which isn't a surprise. Why would we expect them to be excited about the prospect of the UK getting an extension?
Yeah, nobody in the EU is excited about any of this.
But if I was one of these EU Parliament members or leaders or whatever they call themselves over there when they rule people with guns, I would be like, look, you had 2 years to sort this out. What do you expect 2 more months to accomplish?
Right.
Get out. Be done with it.
Go away.
But the United Kingdom doesn't seem to want that, or at least its leaders don't want that. They're bickering over the details about this to the extent that it's just clearly not ever going to happen. You got too many people who want a soft Brexit, too many people who want a hard Brexit, too many people who want different deals, no deals, backdoor deals, and it's just a total mess.
Yeah, it's not. Nothing good is going to come of this.
No. I do like, however, that the French European Affairs Minister, as we talked about before, named her cat Brexit because he wakes her up every morning meowing to death because he wants to go outside. So then she opens up the door and it doesn't go outside, which is exactly the Brexit problem. And we'll be back and we're going to get into the citizens arrested in Saudi Arabia, so don't go anywhere.
Are you tired of your taxes funding endless occupations around the world? Antiwar.com is run by people who understand that wars abroad become wars at home, wars on our freedoms. Antiwar.com is dedicated to bringing you the latest in news, views, interviews, and reviews from the top movers and shakers in the anti-occupation movement. Antiwar.com has it all, from thorough foreign policy analysis to interviews with whistleblowers who used to run the military-industrial complex. Anti-war, pro-free market. That's antiwar.com.
Hey, I'm LRN.FM Program Director Ian Freeman. If you're listening to our free-to-air satellite feed in North or Central America, heads up! We've been on the Galaxy 19 satellite since 2010, but now our satellite provider is moving LRN.FM to a new channel on a different transponder. The current channel will stay on the air until the end of May to give you time to transition without any loss of service, so don't delay. I've posted the new channel details at sat.lrn.fm, but in case you're listening with no internet access, if you do a blind scan on your receiver, you should see the new channel at transponder 6, 11.8425 GHz, horizontal polarization, symbol rate 22,000, FEC 3/4. All that information is at sat.lrn.fm, as well as a link to our Patreon, where you can support our channels for just $2 a month. Visit sat.lrn.fm for more information about our international satellite channels, and thanks for listening to LRN.FM. Did you know we've taken our LRN.FM telephone listen line to a new level with the LRN.FM audio on demand line? Now you can call 712-770-8447 anytime and listen to LRN.FM's live feed. And you can listen to a bunch of our original shows on demand. Long distance fees may apply. Just dial 712-770-8447 and choose from the menu. 712-770-8447.
There are basically two types of advertising, direct response and branding. Radio's great for direct response with its low cost to listener ratio, but audio can't be beat for branding, which is a longer term endeavor. You want to be the first thing that someone thinks of when they think about your product or service. If you have a local business that you want kept top of mind in your community, call the station. If you need national reach, Free Talk Live's got around 200 radio stations, millions of monthly listening sessions, can suit all budgets, and if we don't think we're right for you, we'll tell you. Email me, mark@freetalklive.com.
Some of you asked, and now we've delivered. LRN.FM's live Keene, New Hampshire studio shows are now streamed in HD on Twitch. Visit our channel at twitch.lrn.fm and give it a follow. If you have Amazon Prime, you get one free subscription on Twitch. If you use it on our channel, Twitch will give LRN.FM a monthly piece of your Prime subscription cost. So please watch, follow, share, and subscribe to twitch.lrn.fm. That's twitch.lrn.fm.
I've been told no in many different ways.
I give you an order and you're going to obey it.
George, you can go this way. You can do that and you have to leave here.
You cannot bring signs into the rally.
Walk with me. Well, I'm comfortable here, actually. Whoa. Hey. Who do you think you are? Excuse me.
There is no video and audio allowed in this office.
No, I have work today.
You ain't going to make it.
Wait a minute.
Forget it.
Hey! Oh my God! Unbelievable!
Why are you running from me?
Because you scared me. What am I being detained for?
You're being served.
What is this?
You're being served.
What is this? Bureaucrats have a funny way of telling people no.
That's the sound of the men working on the chain.
Derek J's Victimless Crime Spree. Watch it for free and order the Director's Cut DVD at victimlesscrimespree.com.
Help get LRN.FM into more ears. Visit promote.lrn.fm for a free bumper sticker, flyers, banners, graphics, and more. Promote.lrn.fm.
All right, welcome back to the Call to Freedom. As always, you're invited to give us a call. That number is 603-283-6160. Again, that's 603-283-6160. Or you can use the Discord call-in lines, which you can find at discord.lrn.fm. Now, 2 citizens, as we talked about briefly before the break, have been arrested in Saudi Arabia for supporting women's rights. Now, looking at the stats, as I do every day for our podcast over at calltofreedomlive.podbean.com, I actually noticed that we have at least one download, I didn't look at the number, from Saudi Arabia.
Wow.
Yeah, so that's
we're
interesting.
Getting around.
But those people detained, 7 men and 1 woman, are not frontline activists, but have expressed support for women's rights and other reforms. Coming to us from Dubai, Saudi Arabia has arrested 8 people, including 2 dual U.S.-Saudi citizens, in an apparent crackdown on supporters of women activists whose trials have drawn Western condemnation, an associate and a rights group said on Friday. The 11 women on trial had campaigned for the right to drive and an end to the kingdom's male guardianship system. Now, they do have the right to drive in Saudi Arabia now. They did finally lift that ban.
They managed to get that.
So I would hope that they're no longer still
oh, no, they are. Are these the 2 women
Sorry.
that got 38 years in prison?
I'm not, I don't know. It doesn't specify. It just sort of says they're on trial. Yeah, Ian, Packet Sniffer is correct. In that robe, there is a potential nip-slip possibility there. The 11, okay, their case has intensified criticism of Riyadh's rights record, already in the spotlight after last year's murder of journalist Khashoggi, which you would hope that after so brutally murdering and dismembering a journalist, that his civil rights record would no longer even be in dispute. It's like, okay, this guy's an immoral warlord, like they all are.
Yeah, pretty much.
And he openly embraces that.
That's Saudi Arabia for you.
Yeah, he actually reminds me a bit of Saddam Hussein's sons, which I have no opinion on Saddam Hussein one way or the other. I condemn the American invasion of Iraq. But his sons were horrible people. They abused the power of their father's office to rape and pillage and drink and do all sorts of things they shouldn't have been doing, according to just a lot of times common human decency. But also,
well, who's going to stop them?
Exactly. And that's the issue with Saudi Arabia. They got butthurt because Americans were upset about it. They're like, but you do this sort of thing all the time. That's true as well. You know, America does. Julian Assange is hiding in an asylum, is seeking asylum in an embassy, unable to leave because of pressure from the United States government. So we may not have invited him to an embassy and dismembered him, but we ruined his life. We took his life away from him.
Yeah, pretty much.
And we're never going to let him have it back. The U.S. nationals are journalist Salah where you at, Will? Whose mother, Aziza Al-Youssef, I at least know how to pronounce that one, is among those on trial, and good Lord, and a doctor and author of a book about Shiite Muslim politics. So they have a number of people who are on trial, presumably for saying, hey, you know, having a vagina shouldn't disqualify you from being able to drive.
Yeah, who? I mean, this is not, to us in the U.S., this is not even controversial.
No, and you know, that was a lot of Mark Edge's points when he came on to discuss immigration and assimilation with us, is that, you know, when you get these migrants from Saudi Arabia or other Middle Eastern countries who come into the United States workforce and they see how we treat women, I'm not going to say as equals, but we certainly...
Fairly close.
Yeah, fairly close is what we'll go with. Women are allowed to drive. They're allowed to get their own jobs. They're allowed to divorce their husbands. They're allowed to be out in public. When they start seeing these things, it's a real threat to the culture that they brought with them, because it would seem that the cultural values of
they're smart enough to make their own judgment.
Yeah, but it would seem that the cultural values of equality, or at least marching toward equality, are superior to these entrenched misogynistic policies.
Indeed.
These newly detained people, 7 men and 1 woman, are not frontline activists, but have expressed support of women's rights and other reforms. They were detained late on Wednesday and Thursday, according to ALQST and an associate of the government who spoke on condition of anonymity. 5 other people close to the women have also been placed under a travel ban since February. The Saudi government communications office and the U.S. Embassy in Riyadh did not immediately respond to requests for comments. But a Riyadh court last week temporarily released 3 of the women on trial, including Yusuf, raising hopes of a more lenient handling after months of lobbying by Western governments. So, I mean, we have the pressure here. We have the might, economic and political, to pressure Saudi Arabia into dropping this trial. I'm not sure whether or not I would be a fan of that. Economically, that would be okay, I suppose.
Yeah.
But we have no real interest in pursuing it. The new arrest, however, could signal that the authorities will resist international pressure and will pursue harsh sentences. Khashoggi's murder tarnished the reputation of Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman. Oh, God, these names are rough on me. Who courted Western support for his efforts to modernize Saudi Arabia.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, modernize Saudi Arabia, but yeah, just don't go around murdering people.
Well, that's a pretty modern Western thing to be doing. The CIA and some Western countries believe he ordered the killing, which Saudi officials deny. Dozens of other activists, intellectuals, and clerics have been arrested separately in the past 2 years in an apparent bid to stamp out opposition. Well, that's all pretty standard stuff. It's happening in Venezuela as well, where the guy challenging Maduro, whose name I don't remember off the top of my head.
Guaido?
Yeah. Who has the support of, it's capitalism versus communism all over again.
More or less.
With Maduro being backed by the communist nations. Russia, they're not even communist anymore.
Yeah, they're just kind of socialist, fascist, sort of mixed up.
And the support of China, I think, anyway, versus the United States and our attempt to turn it into a new Korea or a new Vietnam, basically. That's probably how this is going to play out, with Venezuela fractured into 2 nations, one of which is being supported by Russia, one of which is being supported by the United States, and we're going to have Korea Part 3 or Part 17 or whatever number we're actually on. Well, neither Korea nor Vietnam led to World War. I think World War is probably more likely to be a result of the China-Japan, the China Sea, South China Sea, Japan conflict. But time will tell. The women on trial were arrested last May and branded as traitors. At least one of them has been charged under the kingdom's cybercrime law and faces up to 5 years in prison. 5 men arrested at the same time are not on trial, and 2 of them have been released. So even their justice system engages in the misogyny that these people were protesting in the first place. This is the call to freedom. We're going to get further into this, so don't go anywhere.
On Free Talk Live, we're bringing people to the ideas of liberty every day. From wrestling superstars like Glenn Jacobs.
You guys really are having an impact, I believe. Like I said, a lot of where I am now is due to listening to Free Talk Live. You changed my mind on some very important issues years ago.
To random people tuning in on the radio.
I was kind of stuck in the left-right paradigm. I heard your show by chance on a Saturday night. From there, I went on, joined the Free State Project, and become an amplifier. So, I mean, that's really the reason why I amp, is because I know that if it wasn't for you guys being on as many stations as you are, I never would have found the ideas of liberty.
Your amp will directly change more lives by getting Free Talk Live in front of people looking for talk radio online and on the air. When you amp Free Talk Live, you get perks like access to the AMP-only Facebook group and AMP podcast. Visit amp.freetalklive.com. What do you shop for that you could otherwise buy at Amazon? Pretty much everything, right? Amazon has competitive pricing and they deliver, and that's a big plus. If you could plan ahead in your shopping, would you be interested in saving up to 33%? There's a catch. You have to do your shopping in Bitcoin. But imagine those savings. It's like a huge raise. All you have to do is go to saveitpurse.com. We've saved thousands, and you can too. Plan ahead and save. Saveitpurse.com. The Free State Project has reached its goal of 20,000 liberty lovers who've pledged to move to New Hampshire and get active to achieve liberty in our lifetime. Perhaps you're trying to figure out what part of New Hampshire should be your destination. If so, consider Keene. You'll find more than 150 reasons to move to Keene at move.freekeene.com. Keene is famous for its historic, publicity-generating activism, as well as being the liberty media capital of the world. It's home to freekeene.com, New Hampshire's destination for liberty activism, news, and opinion. For years, we've been compiling over 150 reasons to move to Keene at move.freekeene.com, where you'll learn about some of what's happening here and what makes Keene a great place to live. If you love liberty, you'll probably enjoy anywhere you end up in the Shire. But do your due diligence first. Please visit move.freekeene.com for the full list of over 150 reasons to move to Keene. That's move.freekeene.com.
Did you know you can listen to LRN.FM via our free-to-air satellite channels? We have channels over nearly all of North America and much of Africa. All you need is an affordable receiver and a dish as small as 30 inches. There are no monthly fees. Learn more at sat.lrn.fm. Plus, if you are a broadcaster or want to be one, this is a good delivery method for our content. See our coverage maps and get details at sat.lrn.fm. That's sat.lrn.fm. sat.lrn.fm.
This is Michael Dean from the Freedom Fiends. I've run websites since 1996 and have used over a dozen web hosts in that time. AgristHosting.com is the only one that hasn't broken my heart. Agrist Hosting's uptime and service is stellar, and their DDoS mitigation is the best I've seen. That's important because if you tell the truth in this world, you'll ruffle feathers. And some people will try dirty tricks to silence your voice. No matter what the haters hit us with, Agrist Hosting keeps our websites online. If you have a mission-critical commercial presence or a world-changing activism site, you cannot tolerate any skullduggery. So go with agristhosting.com. Have a WordPress or blog site, but you're not satisfied with performance or uptime? Or just want raw hosting? Want to pay with Bitcoin? Agrist Hosting specializes in high-performance hosting with personalized service. Go to agristhosting.com and click on the button that says Get Hosted. That's agristhosting.com.
Some of our live shows are streamed in HD on Twitch. Please follow and share at twitch.lrn.fm. That's twitch.lrn.fm.
All right, welcome back. This is the Call to Freedom. And the Rational Review News Digest, located at rationalreview.com, is the Freedom Movement's daily news digest, aggregating stories from all over the internet that are of interest to libertarians and liberty-minded people. They include podcasts, videos, blogs, and news articles, and are now a source for people to receive the Call to Freedom's podcasts. So be sure to check them out at rationalreview.com. Sorry, I just realized I wrote Saudi Arabia on the sheet of paper instead of Arabia. And it threw me off, so let me fix that real quick.
Saudi who? That's a new one.
Well, I mean, when I write AR, I guess it just kind of happened naturally where I wrote the IA next instead of Arabia.
Saudi Arabia.
But there have been torture allegations against the Saudi government in regard to these cases. Another U.S. Saudi national, Walid good God, has been detained since 2017 under Riyadh's anti-corruption campaign. His son told U.S. senators last month that he had been tortured in detention, including electric shocks and whipping. Some of the women activists have also alleged torture and sexual assault, which the authorities deny. Well, of course they deny it. The siblings of one woman have publicized her case in U.S. media, saying men describing themselves as close to the state had asked his parents to stop them from speaking out. And I realized that that paragraph didn't seem to make... It almost seems like it's from a different article.
Yeah.
Because even with the names right in front of me, it didn't make any more sense.
Yeah, that one was a little hard to follow.
So the Saudi Arabian government is arresting people for opposing it and then torturing them and sexually assaulting them.
And then denying it.
I mean, that's Saudi Arabia, though. That's what it does. I mean, it turned the Muslim Holy Land into Disneyland.
This is not news.
If I remember what Will said correctly, they actually tore down the house that had been lived in by the person to succeed Muhammad and put a McDonald's there.
Wow.
Yeah. I mean, they have almost literally turned this place into Disneyland. I mean, it's all a revenue generation scheme for them now, and they want to make it into the most popular worldwide attraction that it is without any real religious motivation to it at all, except that motivation is how they hook people to come to it in the first place, or the religious motivation is.
Well, you still do have to, as far as I understand, you still do have to be a Muslim to get the visa.
Really?
Yes.
Interesting. Well, I mean, there are a lot of Muslims in the world, so it's not like they're really missing out on a lot of people. I wouldn't go to Saudi Arabia, so...
Yeah, nor would I. I mean, that does not sound like a pleasant place to be.
I think most people would probably avoid Saudi Arabia if they had the option. But, you know, the Saudi Arabian government is like the last sort of steward you would want in charge of your Holy Land, your Mecca, your pilgrimage destination, because they're almost entirely secular, except for how they use religion as an excuse to beat their people over the heads while misinterpreting its tenets.
That sounds like Saudi Arabia.
That is exactly Saudi Arabia. But you brought in something interesting that I haven't had a chance to pull up yet, because I was watching somebody play Space Invaders within Dwarf Fortress, and that got my attention for a moment. But apparently, Russia has a squad of paranormal soldiers who are using telepathy. Now, my first thought is immediately of the movie The Men Who Stare at Goats, which I don't even remember because I was really high when I watched it. But yeah, and it involves dolphins. Holy crap! I'm just going to copy and paste this headline into the YouTube channel description.
Yeah, this is comedy gold.
So they have what's the word? Paranormal.
Yep.
Paranormal soldiers. And let me just read you the headline, okay?
Yeah, let's just read it straight out. That'll probably be best.
Russia's paranormal soldiers and military dolphin telepathy, you heard that correctly, have been revealed by Defense Ministry magazine.
This is from Newsweek.
It is from Newsweek. An article in the official magazine of Russia's Defense Ministry has claimed that the country's military works in tandem with psychics, employs paranormal tactics to aid soldiers, and has used dolphins in telepathy experiments. Now, this isn't terribly unusual. There is some basis, to the Men Who Stare at Goats, the Project MK Ultra and things like that. The CIA, the U.S. government, has done its own sort of paranormal soldiering attempts and things like that. I hate to break it to these people, but none of this crap exists. If any of this psychic stuff was real, somebody would have claimed that $10 million being offered by that wealthy dude who was like, look, if you can enter these controlled circumstances and prove to me that you have psychic abilities, I will give you $10 million. Now, if psychic powers were a thing, somebody would have claimed that money by now.
Oh, yeah, long ago.
But they know that in a controlled experiment, they won't be able to do it.
Yeah, they can't do much better than chance.
Because mind reading,
they never have.
Mind reading is impossible. This noetic science nonsense of humans altering the world with thought, it's nonsense. Action alters the world, not thought. Apparently, though, the Russian military is still investing money into this nonsense, and so is the U.S. government. But a piece in the magazine Army Collection headlined "Super Soldier for the Wars of the Future" described how the military has conducted strange experiments. such as ones in which psychics managed to read documents that were locked in a safe.
Allegedly.
Allegedly. Again, if anybody could do this, that $1 million or $10 million or whatever amount of money it was would have been claimed by now. The article was first published in February, but came to prominence this week after reports in the Russian magazine RBC, opposition newspaper Novaya Gazeta, and the website Meduza. Commentators were surprised that such claims would be made in a publication sanctioned by authorities. I imagine they were. When you find out that your government is using your money in order to do research into psychics and paranormal tactics, I imagine a bit of outrage involved in that. But according to the article's author, Nikolai Peroskov, who served in campaigns in Chechnya and Sierra Leone, Soviet scientists developed paranormal techniques in the 1980s with the aim of a military being able to extract information from a state of so-called alter human consciousness, which kind of sounds like Project MK Ultra itself. But we have a caller on the line. We have Justin, who is calling from IA, I think that's Iowa. Justin has a question. Justin,
turn us down, please.
Yeah, there's a lot of noise in the background, so mute that, please.
Yes, I just shut that off.
Okay. You had a question. What was the question?
Oh, sorry about that. I just want to know, the person in the red hair, do you talk about a penis?
Yeah, penis isn't even bad, but I mean, I'm not just going to let him sit there and shout it on the air.
Yeah.
What was his question? I didn't even hear it. It's really not, that was really not Arab Andy. Rev thinks that's Arab.
That was not very good.
No, well, neither is Arab Andy, to be honest. I'm a member of their Discord server now.
Right.
They're not going to troll us. They did hit Vincent last night, but messing with us, they've learned is just kind of pointless. But did you catch his question? It was something about penis, obviously.
He seems to be obsessed with penises and wants to... I'm not sure what exactly he wanted.
He did ask a question, but I have no idea what it was.
Yeah, it went right outside my head when he started talking about penises.
Yeah.
I think he might have been asking if you have a penis, and then just shouted it a bunch of times.
That sounds about right. Maybe. Yeah. Too bad that's banned on Twitch, unfortunately. So you'll have to look me up on Pornhub like everyone else. Don't go anywhere, though. This is the Call to Freedom. We're going to tell you more about these super psychic soldiers in just a moment.
Looking for a great real estate investment? Consider New Hampshire, which is ground zero for the Liberty Movement. Your first call should be to Mark Worden from Porcupine Real Estate. He's more than just a real estate agent. He's your New Hampshire concierge. Where are the best places to live? Do you want farm, city, the burbs, or forest? Do you want a duplex or multifamily building so that renters pay your mortgage? There are homes in all price ranges in New Hampshire, and Mark can help with financing too. Invest in liberty and property. Mark Worden can help.
PorcupineRealEstate.com.
We have some good news. The indictments against Ross Ulbricht in the District of Maryland were dismissed with prejudice, meaning they can never be refiled. This is especially good because those indictments contain the only charge ever made that Ross engaged in murder for hire. This was a serious allegation that Ross Ulbricht denies. It was never prosecuted or ruled on by a jury, but was trumpeted by the federal government and the media as if it were proven fact. The Maryland court held these indictments for almost 5 years, poisoning Ross's case and leaving him under a cloud of unproven allegations. As explained in Ross's appeal to the Supreme Court, the fact that the judge used these allegations to give Ross a draconian sentence of double life without parole violated his Sixth Amendment right to a jury trial. Judges are required to issue sentences based on convictions decided by a jury, not unproven allegations never even charged at trial. Although this is a positive development, the dropped indictment will not set Ross free. Now, a presidential pardon is Ross's only hope of freedom. Sign the petition at freeross.org. freeross.org.
Now that you've found the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM, you may want to help expose others to our great programs. To assist you in doing so, you'll find resources at promote.lrn.fm, including details on how to get a free bumper sticker, quarter-page flyers you can print out and distribute, banners for your website, as well as files that will allow you to make your own custom banners and graphics. Visit promote.lrn.fm and help bring new listeners to the Liberty Radio Network. That's promote.lrn.fm.
Are you tired of governments murdering people around the world? Stop using their money. There is an alternative. Bitcoin is a stateless, free market, non-political currency. Bitcoin cannot be inflated or controlled by any government. By using their money, you are helping the state. Stop doing it! You have an incredible alternative available now. Learn it, use it, spread it. Get started with Bitcoin at bitcoin.com. That's bitcoin.com.
LRN.FM is proud to announce our official listening apps for Android and iOS devices. Now you can easily tune into our streams anywhere, anytime on your smartphone or tablet. Just visit apps.lrn.fm or search for LRN.FM in the Android or Apple app stores. Please download, rate us 5 stars, then share the link on your social media and let your friends and family know how you're listening to LRN.FM. Download it now, free at apps.lrn.fm.
Is spreading the message of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace around the globe worth $2 per month to you? As you may already know, in addition to our internet feed, LRN.FM broadcasts on free-to-air satellite across North and Central America, as well as Sub-Saharan Africa. And we've been available on satellite for free 24/7 since 2010. The LRN.FM free-to-air satellite signal is reaching some of the most oppressive regimes in the world, and there's no doubt our ideas are making an impact. You can learn more about the channel's impact by watching the 3-minute video at fund.lrn.fm. If you'd like to help free minds globally with our ideas of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace, you can donate as little as $2 per month via fund.lrn.fm. You can help us continue and expand our satellite broadcast to multiple continents. Visit fund.lrn.fm today, and thank you for your help. Don't forget to share the link on social media. That's fund.lrn.fm.
Love what we do? Please help support our international satellite channels at patreon.lrn.fm. That's patreon.lrn.fm.
Welcome back. This is The Call to Freedom. And if you've ever wanted to have sex with prostitutes and then arrest them, or bust people for drugs and then sell the drugs on the side for a nice little bonus, or just enjoy the power rush of being a cop without all the paperwork, then you should try the Thin Blue Line game, which can be found at thinbluelinegame.com. It's the only card game in the world that allows you to shoot someone over a broken taillight and then escape accountability with the magical phrase, "I feared for my life." You know, typical cop stuff. Go get it now at thinbluelinegame.com. Assault and battery is not included. But for a limited time, you can order your copies and use the coupon code CTF to have all shipping costs waived. So go get it. Once more, that's thinbluelinegame.com. And we've been discussing the Russian government's super soldier of the future who have psychic powers.
Yeah, so-called psychic powers.
Which, because of how my brain works, immediately makes me, and because I've watched a ton of South Park in my life, immediately makes me think of the South Park Psychic episode where Cartman becomes a psychic and has the psychic battle in his living room against the other psychics. And that's what I'm imagining. You know, I'm totally for that. You know, actually, yeah, let's go with this. Psychic powers are a real thing, and all we need is for our military to get rid of their guns and to instead use psychic powers to fight the enemy.
Use your telekinesis to fight wars.
Yeah, and just have both sides doing that, standing in a field going pew, 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 pew at each other. And that's how we can fight wars from now on.
Oh, yeah.
That is the future war, making random noises at each other. According to the, they're trying to extract information from a so-called altered human consciousness, which sounds a lot like Project MKUltra. And I'm not sure what exactly the goal of MKUltra was, except just sort of to understand human psychology, I think, so that it could be exploited.
Right.
Because it was pretty wide in scope. You know, there were a lot of aspects to it. It wasn't just them kidnapping people and drugging them with LSD and things like that.
They really wanted to find out what they could do.
Yeah, they wanted to see how far they could break into a mind. And if they could just do that by having a psychic put their hand on their head and go sim salibim or whatever, they would have done that. He wrote how the method was even used during the campaigns in Chechnya to reveal the enemy's plan and the composition of the forces and means involved.
That would be an impressive trick.
Yeah, it certainly would be. Of course, it's absolute BS and propaganda brought to us by a state-sanctioned newspaper or state-sanctioned magazine. So we can't believe anything it says. And I think during the break you were reading over a list of rewards being offered.
I did look up because you mentioned the James Randi Prize, the $1 million prize.
That was it.
Apparently that got canceled back in 2015.
Did he die?
No, the foundation just got fed up with fake people applying and wasting their time, I guess. But
that'll happen.
But yeah, not to worry. There's like 20 or 25 other prizes you can go claim. Wikipedia's got a whole list of them.
Do you have psychic powers? Give us a call. Or better yet, tell me with your psychic powers that you have psychic powers. And then I will repeat the message you convey to me on the air for everyone to hear. If you have psychic powers.
If you've got psychic powers, send your phone number into our head and we'll call you.
There we go. Even better. Send us your phone number using your special brain magic, and we'll give you a call, and we'll put you on the air, and it'll be great. But do you even believe in psychic powers? I'm assuming you don't. Yeah, I wouldn't think so. I read a book that was really fascinating when I was in junior high about how the U.S. government had used, I can't remember the name of them now, but remote viewing people, which is like more psychic BS, to communicate with extraterrestrials. And there were supposedly 3 of these groups of extraterrestrials, one of which refused contact with us, one of which was called the Greys, and one of which was called, I don't remember it now because I was in the 7th grade when I read it, and that was a lot of joints ago.
Now, the Greys are the ones that crashed in Roswell in 47, right?
Yeah, theoretically. And I have no opinion on that because I don't know, I wasn't there, but I will say that
allegedly.
Yeah. Extraterrestrials almost certainly exist. Whether or not they've been to Earth is an entirely different question, and I have no opinion on that, but the universe is freaking massive.
They're probably out there. The question you got to ask yourself when you're thinking about are there extraterrestrials is why on earth would they come to this little backwater?
Yeah, and how would they even find us? You know, we're not technologically advanced. We're not very old on the cosmological scale. Certainly not.
Right.
But, you know, it's not easy for us to scan the entire universe for signals from extraterrestrials. And even if we do find one, it came from millions of light years away, which is a distance that we are nowhere near being able to travel, much less send a message back. And we have to consider that reality that even if we do hear from an extraterrestrial civilization, it would take our message millions of years to get back to them.
Right.
More often than not, anyway. But yeah, just looking at our own galaxy, there are hundreds of billions of solar systems within it, each one of which could contain a life-supporting planet. And we know of at least a few that are likely to be Earth-like, like Lisa 581c and D, and just several others. The prospect of some type of life evolving on those, considering the circumstances in which life evolves here on Earth, I think leads to the conclusion that it's almost certainly happened elsewhere, because even if the odds are like 1 in 10 quadrillion, there are certainly enough planets out there for it to happen multiple times.
Right. Just
in our galaxy alone. And that's not even getting into the fact that there are hundreds of billions of galaxies just in the observable universe. So what is hundreds of billions times hundreds of billions, right?
Right.
That's how many times we're rolling the dice here. And of course, people are guilty of the anthropic principle when they go, oh yeah, but look, it's so unlikely that it would have happened here on Earth, but it did. I was like, well, yeah, but it had to happen somewhere.
But
so wherever
it's so unlikely that somebody is going to get all 6 numbers and the Powerball, but somebody did.
Yeah, I mean, it only has to happen once. And of course, if it's going to happen, it's going to be in a place that is conducive to that happening in the first place. But moving on with this insane story, he said that Russia has used specialists who use telepathy to quiz prisoners, which are skills they honed in experiments on dolphins.
So they were using telepathy to interrogate dolphins.
They yes. Where are the mackerel?
And they use these skills to interrogate human prisoners.
They mentally gave the dolphins commands that the dolphins then performed. It turned out that the technique also applied to humans. Look, if the Russian government had the ability to use special mind magic to make people behave, then they would have a prison population of 0, and they wouldn't even need to be hostile with the United States, because they could just go, ooh, brain magic in our direction, and we would suddenly love them.
Right. Somebody has just made this up out of whole cloth.
Oh, yeah. The article stated that paranormal tactics have helped soldiers learn foreign languages, treat wounded troops. Ooh, it's magical mind healing now.
Oh, my.
Detect ambushes and even crash computers. Boy, that's some powerful magic mind mojo.
The power of the mind.
That's what I'm going to call it now, mind mojo.
You want to develop your psychic abilities? Go enlist in the Russian army.
Yep. He said telepathic. That's why I said telepathy a moment ago, because telepathy is pronounced one way, while telepathic is pronounced an entirely different way.
Yeah, English.
Yeah. Nonverbal interrogation can help soldiers decide if enemy soldiers are receptive to recruitment. So can a lot of this is easily explained with body language. There are entire books. It's been studied extensively about how to present a specific type of body language and how to interpret people's body language. It seems, on a related matter to something we were laughing about earlier, Joe Biden could use one of these books.
Yeah, he definitely could.
Perhaps one for children that just says when people pull away from you, it means they don't want to be near you.
Right.
Combat parapsychology has a real place. The technique was developed by the Soviet Academy of Sciences in an attempt to discover the phenomenal characteristics of a person. Now, that sounds more like that BS that you only use 10% of your brain, which is false. That's like the whole your tongue is divided into 5 categories of taste buds thing. It's just simply not true. We were taught it was true, but it isn't. Sort of like parapsychology and the paranormal activity. You know how this probably went? Like Peter Venkman in the original Ghostbusters going, you're a hot chick, you have psychic powers. This is the Call to Freedom. We're going to tell you all about these special magic mind mojo soldiers here, so don't go anywhere.
Hey, I'm LRN.FM Program Director Ian Freeman. If you're listening to our free-to-air satellite feed in North or Central America, heads up. We've been on the Galaxy 19 satellite since 2010, but now our satellite provider is moving LRN.FM to a new channel on a different transponder. The current channel will stay on the air until the end of May to give you time to transition without any loss of service, so don't delay. I've posted the new channel details at sat.lrn.fm, but in case you're listening with no internet access, if you do a blind scan on your receiver, you should see the new channel at transponder 6, 11.8425 GHz, horizontal polarization, symbol rate 22,000, FEC 3/4. All that information is at sat.lrn.fm, as well as a link to our Patreon, where you can support our channels for just $2 a month. Visit sat.lrn.fm for more information about our international satellite channels, and thanks for listening to LRN.fm. There are lots of ways to listen to Free Talk Live. Our podcast has been around since podcasts began, and now the FTL feed is loaded with content besides our full show archives. Did you know that we make it easy for you to customize your podcast subscriptions? We have different feeds, one that includes only our full shows, one with just the Daily Digest, and one with just the Edgington Post. You decide what you listen to. It's quick and easy to customize your feeds at feeds.freetalklive.com. That's feeds.freetalklive.com. So you've signed the Shire Society Declaration and are planning your move to New Hampshire to be around more liberty-oriented people. Next, sign up for the Shire Society Forum at forum.shiresociety.com. There are a bunch of people there who are already in the Shire, and they want to meet you. If you're already in the Shire physically, you should also come by the forums. Remember, not everyone uses Facebook. New people are signing up for the Shire Society Forum every month, so drop in and say hello at forum.shiresociety.com.
More of the Call to Freedom is coming up next, live after the news on the Liberty Radio Network at LR.
This is the Liberty Beat, your daily source for Liberty news and activist updates. Produced in partnership with SNLS News and listeners like you. Online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. I'm Mick Murrow with your latest edition of the Liberty Beat. Gold is trading at $1,287. Silver at $14.94, and Bitcoin is trading around $4,869. Today's prices are brought to you by InnoScale. Take off with Managed Cloud. Looking for a safe, secure way to store your important files online? Let InnoScale handle it for you. Their high availability cloud servers are the perfect solution for clients needing one or more secure, scalable servers with built-in hardware failover protection. For details, see them online at innoscale.net. In the news, 3 more women have come forward to the Washington Post to share their stories about their own encounters with former Vice President Joe Biden, bringing the total number to 7. The Mind Unleashed reports the women came forward mere hours after Biden published a video where he vowed to be more respectful toward women after a controversy over his history of inappropriate physical contact with women exploded onto the front pages.
Social norms have begun to change, they've shifted, and the boundaries of protecting personal space have been reset. And I get it. I get it. I hear what they're saying. I understand it. And I'll be much more mindful. That's my responsibility.
All 3 women told the newspaper that Biden's unwillingness to apologize for his behavior in his grand mea culpa video offended them, and said it has become clear that Biden was struggling to understand exactly why his actions were inappropriate. This isn't about sexual assault, one woman said. It's about power dynamics between men and women. Utterly shocking body camera footage was released Thursday, showing what led to one officer's arrest and felony assault charges, and the suspension without pay of 2 others. What started over an alleged noise complaint quickly turned into a gang-style beatdown of several innocent men. The Free Thought Project reports that police, March 16th, were responding to a call over a loud party when the incident began. For several moments, officers held down a man as one of them kicked him repeatedly. At one point, another cop stepped in and put an end to the beating. Had he not, someone may have been beaten to death. The Liberty Beat is sponsored in part by Brave Botanicals. High-quality kratom and CBD at reasonable prices with excellent customer service. Brave Botanicals is activist-owned and mission-driven, fighting for your right to consume plant-based medicine and natural remedies. Find out more at mybravebotanicals.com. And right now, Liberty Beat listeners can save 10% by using promo code SNLS at checkout. This is the latest edition of the Liberty Beat, online at snls.news and libertybeat.news. I'm Mick Murrow. Your news now continues. The U.S. House of Representatives has voted in favor of ending U.S. involvement in the war in Yemen, but the bill is expected to be vetoed by President Donald Trump as the White House cites serious constitutional concerns. The Free Thought Project reports the House voted 247 to 175 in favor of the resolution to direct Trump to end U.S. military involvement in the war within 30 days and to end support for the Saudi-led coalition that it has been backing. Campaigners have organized rallies nationwide in order to give voice to the widespread public demand the report submitted to the U.S. Department of Justice by Special Counsel Robert Mueller be disclosed to members of Congress and the public with as little redaction as possible, without further delay. Spearheaded by a coalition of progressive groups, including Move On, Public Citizen, People for the American Way, and Indivisible, more than 300 rapid response events across the country have been scheduled to make it clear that people want the report made available to lawmakers and the public. In addition to the dispersed rallies nationwide, people in Washington, D.C. plan to demonstrate outside the White House Thursday afternoon to demand Attorney General William Barr release the full report to the U.S. House Judiciary Committee and as much information as possible to the public. Support for the Liberty Beat comes from the Conscious Resistance Network, featuring videos, news reports, and articles from a spiritual anarchist perspective. Experience the conscious resistance at theconsciousresistance.com. How would you like to have your business featured on the Liberty Beat? You can just send an email to libertybeat@snls.news for details. This is the Liberty Beat, produced in partnership with SNLS News and listeners like you. The Liberty Beat is online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. I'm Mick Murrow, reporting with the latest edition of the Liberty Beat, reminding you, spread liberty with a smile.
On June 4th, 1919, a group of bold, passionate men took it upon themselves to pass the Women's Suffrage Act, finally granting women the right to vote that they were too frail and helpless to achieve on their own. Having long watched women struggle to stand up for their right to choose elected officials, the strong and capable men decided to intercede and aid their weak female counterparts. And on June 6, 1972, David Bowie's release of his concept album, The Rise and Fall of Ziggy Stardust, kick-started the glam rock genre and led to such spin-off trends as glam medicine, glam sports, and glamcatecture, all culminating in the 1976 presidential glam election. And that was what happened this week in history. In the words of French King John II, history will forever remember the great names of Alexander and Napoleon and Washington. But what about me, John II of France? I did stuff too.
This is the Onion News Network.
Welcome back. This is The Call to Freedom. As always, I'm your host, Ari DeMezzo, author of Dancing in Hellfire, which you can find on Amazon. And I'm joined in the studio today by
Michael Hampton from BitcoinHistory.com.
And we've been talking, and I can't believe I'm saying
we've been
this,
laughing
about the psychic Russian soldiers who used telepathy to command dolphins what to do.
And they think it worked.
Yeah, and I have to pause because my brain shuts off when I hear things that are just that stupid. It goes, we can't, input denied is what it says. Error. Are you dividing by 0 over there? So, but they are releasing propaganda that it happened. And of course it's propaganda. It's coming from a magazine by the state. Of course, if psychic powers were a real thing, as we talked about previously, there are numerous rewards out there being offered up for anyone who can prove the existence of these abilities.
Yeah, and some of them were actually from Russian organizations.
Using in a controlled experiment. But of course, the contention among these psychics is that, well, we can't do that, obviously, because the parameters of the experiment will prevent our psychic abilities from working. So that's hucksterism. Yeah, I think that's what we call that, charlatanism.
That's the whole point of the experiment, is to prove that you're full of it.
Yep. And the fact that they're unwilling, these real psychics, to undergo these experiments, it's pretty telling. But they said they've predicted ambushes and manipulated dolphins and prisoners, and they could tell whether or not a soldier is willing to defect and all kinds of other nonsense.
Yeah, ridiculous.
But God, these names. Natalie, the head of the analytics department at the magazine Soldiers of Russia, told RBC that Russian Soviet scientists did some work in these fields, especially between the 1960s and the 1980s.
So that was about the same time the MK Ultra was going on.
Yeah, around the same time that we were doing our own stupid experiments that were a waste of human life, human psychology, and taxpayer money. However, the chairman of the Commission to Combat Pseudoscience at the Russian Academy of Sciences told RBC that combat parapsychology is a pseudoscientific invention. It's not even pseudoscientific. It's just BS.
It's just pseudo.
It's pseudo-stupid. Such works rarely existed and were developed and were classified, but as in many countries of the world, such studies are recognized as pseudoscientific. All this is complete nonsense. No parapsychology exists at all. It's a fairy tale.
It's a fairy tale.
He's right, but he is disputing the Russian government here, and I would imagine that's going to have interesting results about him. All the talk about the transfer of a thought at a distance does not have a scientific basis. There is no such recorded case. It is simply impossible. Sort of. I mean, we're conveying thoughts at distances right now.
Yeah, but we're actually manipulating the physical environment to do it.
We are. That was one of the things I loved most about Stephen King's book on writing, was that he described writing essentially as telepathy, because you're using the written word to convey a thought directly from your head to someone else's head. And I really like how he goes into additional detail about not being overly descriptive and things like that, because once you say that somebody is in a room or whatever, it's no longer just the author's room. You know, the reader creates it in their own head. And the more details you put into that, the more disruptive you are to the image in their head. So it's a really fascinating take on the subject. But yeah, that's the only sort of telepathy that is real, is you listening to us talking in your head right now, as I think it's Mark Edge describes it. I exist as a voice in your head. Probably going to make somebody, take a knife to their brains to cut out the voices one day, but hey, we'll deal with that.
Now you know who the voices in your head are.
Meanwhile, Vladimir Prulitsky, Army Collections chief editor, told RBC that his publication simply publishes articles containing research, information, and discussion about military topics.
Yeah, that's all we do. This is just for your amusement. Enjoy.
Directly from the Russian government, though. For the next segment, we really have to talk about the United States government's own attempts to do psychic soldiers and all of that kind of nonsense. But it's just so bizarre that, to me, it's as equally as bizarre as the idea of the United States government or the Russian government trying to build a ladder to reach heaven. We have this mythology, and the same mythology is true in regard to this paranormal crap. And what they attempt to do is legitimize it, but that's not what I'm trying to say. It becomes so widespread that ordinary people who end up in government positions go, oh, well, we need to spend some actual money on this. We need to research this. We need to make our own psychic soldiers to combat the Russian psychic soldiers.
Yeah, I bet this came about because somebody in the Soviet Union heard about MK Ultra and they decided they wanted to do their own program.
I'm sure. Or, it's just a natural result of the widespread belief in these kind of things, like ghosts and things like that. Like, oh, let's weaponize ghosts next.
Oh, yeah. People still believe in ghosts. Like, down in Massachusetts, like 50 miles from here, there's a market basket that people think is haunted.
Really? Now, this is a really peculiar topic
and
for me.
Market Basket had to issue a press release saying the store is not haunted.
Interesting. But, when I was a child, we lived in a house that my entire life, and even now, I described as a haunted house. Weird crap happened in that house. Weird crap that I will never be able to explain. Like being locked in the attic when I was the only one there, and hearing noises that should not have been there. And I've always characterized it as a haunted house, so I don't believe in ghosts or souls. To me, a soul is just a way for a human to bypass their own immortality, their own mortality.
Now, was it possible someone was just messing with you? They followed you in and...
No, I don't know. I was too young for that. Nobody would have done it. It was all very peculiar. The more peculiar one, though, was waking up, having been playing a board game before I went to sleep, and waking up at like 2 in the morning, as I usually did back then, playing a video game. I remember the video game that I played. It was North and South on the regular Nintendo.
Right.
And then still being unable to sleep, so I went over there to my board game, and it was gone. Instead, there was the face of an actual freaking demon rising out of the floor.
Oh, my.
And it scared me so badly that I couldn't speak. I went over there to wake my mother up, and I was wide awake. I wasn't dreaming or anything like that. She always remembered being woken up and me trying to describe what I was seeing, but just too terrified to speak.
Oh, my.
And the next morning, my board game was there. I cannot explain these things. I don't attempt to. The most likely explanation, yes, is that I imagined all of it, but I'm also convinced that none of it was the result of imagination. But so it's just not something I reconcile, but I don't believe in ghosts. I don't believe in souls. One of the peculiar things I don't like about the band Tool is that they're heavily about this occultism crap.
Mm-hmm.
But in one of their songs, they say, embrace this moment, remember, we are eternal, all this pain is an illusion, which is a nice sentiment.
Right.
But earlier
How
in
do you
the
know?
earlier in the same song, he describes this body holding me reminds me of my own mortality, which is also a nice sentiment. But the problem is, you talk about your own mortality, and then like a second later, describe yourself as eternal. These words don't mean what people think they mean. And it's because they've invented this concept called the soul.
The soul, right.
That allows them to convince themselves that they're going to live forever.
You're going to live on past the death of their body.
Yeah. And I mean, I don't know, what is supposed to comprise a soul? Your personality and things like that? Does your soul contain your personality? Because we know for a fact it doesn't. Especially as a result of head injury traumas and things like that cause people's personalities to just completely
Radically
change.
Yeah.
And you wouldn't expect something physical like that to alter someone's soul, right?
Right.
So what is a soul supposed to even contain in the first place? Because it clearly doesn't contain their personality. This is the Call to Freedom, which used to be a fairly religious show. We'll be back in a moment.
The new 4th edition of Healing Our World, The Compassion of Libertarianism, will take your understanding of liberty to a deeper level and has over 1,300 updated references, new cartoons, and a foreword by Dr. Ron Paul. With discounts for multiple book purchases, the 4th edition of Healing Our World is a great gift for the liberals, pragmatists, environmentalists, and Christians in your life who think libertarianism is cold-hearted. Get yours today at healing.freetalklive.com and use promo code FTL for a $5 discount.
Americans across the nation made their voices heard this week as they demanded more mind-blowing guitar solos. Calling for the solos to be, quote, face-meltingly cool and go on for well over 10 minutes, Americans stressed that all guitar solos from now on should be equally as kick-ass as those in Van Halen's Hot for Teacher and AC/DC's Thunderstruck, or even better.
It should start out really slow, you know, and then get faster and faster until they're all the way up at the top of the guitar neck and bending the notes like crazy, so it's like and then there's all this awesome pyrotechnic stuff going off in the background. They should all be like that.
And in this week's local news, a report noted that on its surface, Glenbrook, Ohio is a small town like any other, a peaceful, all-American town. And yet, the report's authors added, if you only look closer, what you find may surprise you. In other news, a man is just having one of those decades where he doesn't feel like doing anything.
This is the Onion News Network.
LRN.FM now has a Discord. Discord is a free text and voice chat platform, and we now have our own server with a bunch of channels at discord.lrn.fm. You can join other listeners as they chat about various things during our live shows, or anytime, day or night. Discord software is available cross-platform, so you can have it on whatever device you want and take your chats anywhere. Join our Discord at discord.lrn.fm. That's discord.lrn.fm.
Cell 411 is a free app for Android and iOS that replaces government-controlled 911. Cell 411 allows you to preset a group of friends or private organizations to show up at any emergency. Cell 411 is a nightmare for the state because it proves their so-called services aren't needed. Cell 411 has had thousands of installs, and of course it's covered by the BIPCOT no government license. Cell 411 because your friends won't shoot you when you're in trouble. Without the government, who would build the emergency services? You and Cell 411. Get it today at getcell411.com.
The LRN.FM social media channels have been revamped. We've eliminated Facebook and focused on other platforms like Twitter and Mastodon, the decentralized alternative to Twitter. On our accounts, you'll find posts from multiple LRN.FM show hosts together in one place. Follow us on Twitter at twitter.lrn.fm, or better yet, move to the decentralized Mastodon social media platform at toot.lrn.fm, toot.lrn.fm. I think you'll like it.
Would you like to hang out with Penn Jillette? He's keynoting Freedom Fest this year. I, for one, am thrilled. Freedom Fest is the largest liberty-oriented gathering in the world. They take a Big Ten approach with libertarians, conservatives, liberals, anarchists, and just open-minded people mingling together to hear real debates, share real solutions, and converse freely. This year's theme is the Wild West, a time of liberty and opportunity, or a time of anarchy and violence. Maybe both. Go to freedomfest.com/FTL and get your tickets now. freedomfest.com/FTL. Not convinced yet? Hey, I understand. It's a high-end event, even with coupon code FTLEB. Sure, you're likely to receive investment advice that'll make that sum seem paltry, but I have something special for you. Go to freedomfest.com/FTL and you'll get the 5 best speeches from last year for free. Call it a test drive. Do yourself a favor and go to freedomfest.com/FTL. freedomfest.com/FTL. Use coupon code FTLEB for a discount.
Now you can follow LRN.FM on the decentralized Mastodon social media platform at toot.lrn.fm, toot.lrn.fm.
Welcome back. This is the Call to Freedom here on LRN.FM. Of course, you're invited to give us a call. That number is 603-283-6160. Again, that's 603-283-6160. Or if you prefer clearer quality, you can use the Discord call-in lines, which you can find at discord.lrn.fm, as well as joining in the conversation there, which is usually ongoing with something interesting. I don't know what they're talking about today, but they're certainly talking about something. They're not using the on-air room to talk about what we've been discussing here on the air, at least.
No, a lot of times they just don't.
Which is these Russian psychic soldiers that have been brainwashing dolphins. I just can't get through that without my brain shutting down because it's just so bizarre.
They were using telepathy they experimented by trying to use telepathy to command dolphins to do things. And then when they decided they were successful at that, they started using telepathy on people.
I mean, they know that mackerel is an easier way to train dolphins, you would think, right? Like, hey, I want you to jump through this hoop, little dolphin. Okay.
Come get some mackerel. Yeah.
But we have a caller now. They are from the Arab Andy Discord server, which I'm actually a member of. And I'm curious why they seem to be attempting to troll the show. But he actually says he has a question for in regard to the FBI raid that occurred here a number of years ago. So, Schmeat, what's on your mind?
All right, so we got into this conversation last night about the raid, but it just didn't seem like it added up. So I think.
What didn't add up?
I don't know. The fact that you think the FBI would waste their time raiding a small radio station with a small audience. I think it's very obvious what Ian was up to there.
Do you know? Are you not familiar with Free Talk Live? Because they are covered on, I think, 192 radio stations across the continental United States.
That's still relatively small.
190
for a radio station? Yes, that's relatively small.
Free Talk Live is not a radio station. They're a show. They're carried by GCN, which is a network that facilitates this radio play. They get hundreds of thousands of downloads for their podcast a month. I mean, they're huge. It's a huge show, man.
I don't think the FBI is going to waste their time on a radio station talking smack. I think it's very obvious that he was up to something there, and that's why they raided him.
I think if that was the case, then he would not be standing here right now. Considering
he said he got acquitted because they wanted to protect their malware.
No, that was an entirely. You're unmuted.
Look, you guys, you know that there's a show that I'm on where you can actually call and ask questions about, right? Like you don't have to call all the shows that don't really know anything about it because they weren't here at that time. I wasn't acquitted. I wasn't ever charged. No one was charged. They raided this studio, which happens to be my home and the home of other people as well. So, you know, dozens of people had access to the internet here. They took dozens of devices 3 years ago, and no one has been arrested or charged with anything. So there's no acquittal if you're never charged with something.
Yeah, they just took your stuff in an effort to shut down what you were doing.
Yeah, didn't one of the FBI agents say that was unfortunate that they couldn't take your studio equipment?
Oh, no, they took the equipment.
Like the radio stuff?
They took all the servers. except for one.
Okay, I don't care.
Yeah. Well,
Ian likes kids. Be
Why
quiet.
did you call to ask if you don't care? Huh?
I think he left. Yeah, why did you call to ask if you don't care?
Because he needs to be confronted.
Ooh.
He knows what he did. He won't take responsibility for it.
Confront me.
What he did was piss off the FBI by breaking the story on Free Talk Live with an audience that you seem to severely underestimate the size of. Like Free Talk Live, it's the largest libertarian show in the world, man. And the LRN.FM brand is being carried all across the world, including satellites and all kinds of other stuff that it's not a minor thing. Call to Freedom is a newer show that I just took over production of like two months ago, but has been growing rather nicely since, I have to say. Well, I'm not going to attribute that to myself or anything like that. But Free Talk Live is absolutely massive in its audience.
I wouldn't say that. I mean, but, you know, we're mid-sized for a syndicated radio show.
I mean, you're certainly large enough that when you break a story about the FBI, because it was broken on Free Talk Live, was it not?
No, we were pulling it from some news source.
Okay. Okay, weird. I think Mark characterizes it as breaking it on Free Talk Live.
Mark doesn't know what he's talking about. He doesn't know anything about breaking news or reporting on it.
Okay, fair enough. You said it, not me.
He's just a sales guy, and he's good at it.
But, yeah, so if there was anything to it, and again, it's been like 3 years now.
Yeah, you guys are 3 years too late. The confronting's already happened, but you're welcome to continue to call in and ask all the questions you want.
Yeah, it's a complete dead end, though, unfortunately. And again, it's honestly got nothing to do with the Call to Freedom. That wasn't even a show then, even on Sunday nights, I don't believe.
Yeah, it was not. It was not.
And it was certainly not broadcast here in the studio like it is now. And I certainly had nothing to do with the show. I barely remember where I was 3 years ago. Where was I 3 years ago? I think I was in Vegas.
I was in Manchester.
About 3 years ago.
I did hear a little bit about this when it happened. So,
but yeah, there was also all of the freaking stuff, which got a lot of attention. Derek J's Victimless Crime Spree has a lot of it. You can watch that at victimlesscrimespree.com. I would definitely recommend doing so. I put it off for a very long time, and in hindsight, I kind of regret that. Mm-hmm. But I mean, when else do I really have 3 hours to sit and watch a show? Rather, not 3 hours. It's like an hour and a half long.
90-minute movie?
Yeah, about an hour and a half. But it's really good, right? But it ends on such a depressing note. Good God. Because, I mean, he gets out of jail and all that, and it's like, okay, well, I'm leaving the Shire, bon voyage, and all of that. And, it's just sort of an addendum to it would be great. It's like, hey, Derek is doing fine. He's still in the, he's back in the Shire.
He's back. He's up in Portsmouth. He's doing crypto stuff.
Yeah, he's heavily involved in AnyPay. So all of that would be like a great addendum to Victimless Crime Spree, in my opinion.
It's not in the movie, but if you go to the website, you can see the 5-year retrospective that we did, I think it was 2 years ago now, in Portsmouth, where he and I take questions on stage, and he kind of talks about what he's doing now.
Okay,
so
interesting.
Nice.
I just watched it on YouTube.
I didn't know there was a retrospective or anything like that.
I would still like to see it fixed on, or just added onto the end of the YouTube video, because that was where I saw it, and I imagine that's where a lot of people would see it. But so all of that, Ian is not a pedo. God, that's a common tactic among people, is to just repeatedly accuse them of a thing until everyone believes it to be true. Yeah. We saw the same thing here in the United States with Trump's Russian collusion, right?
Right.
Where, he colluded with Russia, and the media just stated it like it was an absolute proven fact. Even just a few weeks ago.
Was, yeah.
Yeah, even just a few weeks ago, we covered a news article that just sort of threw it in there, like Trump's. I don't remember exactly how they phrased it, but it was clear that they were just throwing it in there, and that it had absolutely no truth to it whatsoever, in our eyes anyway. And they certainly didn't provide any evidence for it.
Of course not.
But they just kept saying it until people believed it to be true. And it seems to have been effective, because even now, following the FBI and their reports, however all of that nonsense worked, saying, oh yeah, there's actually no evidence of any sort of collusion between Trump and Russia, you still have people believing it. This is the Call to Freedom.
This is a special alert for business owners, consultants, coaches, folks planning retirement, entrepreneurs, and anyone who is saving and investing to build a financial future. You are likely aware that financial privacy for most people has recently died a miserable death. And let's face it, without privacy, there really is no security, is there? Bankrupt governments and banks on the verge of collapse are perhaps the biggest threat to your financial future today. The Lighthouse Law Club recognizes this and has been working diligently to provide safe, secure, and productive tools to ensure your privacy, your financial security, and your future financial well-being, despite the catastrophes which many people fear are looming ahead of us. Find out more with a variety of free videos on the YouTube channel for Lighthouse Law Club. Just search YouTube for Lighthouse Law Club and secure your future today.
Are you a cryptocurrency advocate? The Crypto Tip is the ideal outreach tool to help new people discover cryptocurrency. It's a printable business card-sized tip that you can give to service providers, preferably in addition to a good cash tip. When the server scans the QR code, it'll bring up an explanation of cryptocurrency, how to install a wallet, and allow them to claim the tip. If they don't claim the crypto, you get your tip refunded to you after a time period you specify. Plus, if they do claim the tip, you get an email alert. Create as many tips as you want at cryptotip.org. That's cryptotip.org.
Since time began, tyrants have taken aim at personal liberties. Now there's a movie that aims back.
The government has no more right to tell us what to put in our bodies than they have to take our guns or tell us what books we can read.
6 drug police were eaten by bears while raiding a marijuana farm.
On your knees, you dirty hippie! Jesus. On your knees! What's the problem, officer?
Today, many cops who enforce pot laws do so only because it provides them with cushy jobs, good benefits, and a chance to push people around.
I was an undercover narcotics officer. The drug war is nothing but a farce.
The Second Amendment says you gotta keep you and your gat intact.
Guns and Weed, The Road to Freedom. A film by Michael W. Dean and Nima Vadati.
DVD available now at gunsandweed.com or on Amazon. That's gunsandweed.com. Makes the perfect gift. Remember, that's gunsandweed.com.
Imagine someone in your community getting in their car, turning on the radio, and hearing the Liberty Radio Network. You can make that vision a reality with your own micro radio station. Visit broadcast.lrn.fm to learn how you can put our programs on the air in your area. You can have LRN.FM running around the clock, and you can even add in your own local shows. Building a radio station is simple, but programming isn't. That's where LRN.FM comes in. Learn more at broadcast.lrn.fm. That's broadcast.lrn.fm.
Uncovering the secrets and exposing the lies. That's what the readers of freedomsphoenix.com get every day. freedomsphoenix.com, constantly providing the information, the real news about government policies, and the real relationship we all have with the coercive government, the real condition of the economy, innovations in technology, breakthroughs in energy, health, and computer science. Learn the truth well before it's admitted to in the lamestream media. The corporate media, nothing more than distributors of government propaganda, but now there's an alternative. freedomsphoenix.com. Constant news updates on the issues that affect your life in the most important ways. With liberty and property under constant attack, freedomsphoenix.com provides the understanding behind the propaganda, and it encourages the participation of its readers. Go to freedomsphoenix.com. That's freedoms with an S, phoenix.com. freedomsphoenix.com. The revolution between the ears has already happened.
This is the Liberty Radio Network, broadcasting the latest liberty-oriented audio content 24 hours a day at LRN.FM.
Welcome back. This is the Call to Freedom. As always, you're invited to give us a call. That number is 603-283-6160. Of course, you have to get through the Arab Andy trolls in order to do that. So we're currently screening calls more heavily than normal. But as I mentioned earlier, we had to look into the U.S. government's research into paranormal activity. And so I have here from taskandpurpose.com 5 true stories about the military's paranormal activity research. And hopefully what they're going to tell us about is the actual research attempts and the experiments and crap like that, and they're not going to be like, oh, they were like totes for real successful.
Well, Task and Purpose actually is a military news and analysis website. I am familiar with it.
Well, he asked, what if I told you that the Department of Defense and the CIA spent 4 decades researching ESP and psychokinesis?
I believe you.
Yeah, I know they did. I don't even know why you would ask. This is common knowledge among us libertarians who look at this kind of thing and go, well, this is why you don't state.
This website is the target audience of this website is people in the military.
Okay. From the 1950s to the 1990s, the military and intelligence communities investigated psychic phenomena, conducted clandestine missions that relied on subjects believed to have supernatural powers, and competed with the Soviet Union in a psychic arms race.
Oh, a psychic Cold War.
In Phenomena, the secret history of the U.S. government's investigation into extrasensory perception and psychokinesis. Good God, do they not have an editor who could have shortened that title? Published in March, investigative journalist Annie Jacobson explores the bizarre world of government-funded research into things that don't exist. The responsibility of the Defense Department and CIA is to be aware of what the enemy is working on and to create programs to counter it.
Okay, so was
technically, yeah.
Was it then that the U.S. started looking into telepathy because the Russians were doing it?
That does seem to be the contention among Jacobson, or the more likely it's a chicken and egg scenario where they both just sort of do it, which is not surprising. So it all started with the Nazis, apparently, some of whom were obsessed with black magic. Now, there is a video game that is actually based on this. I don't remember what it's called. But it seemed like it was a really cool game. I want to say it was Resistance, Fall of Man, or something like that.
I had completely forgotten about the whole Nazis being involved in black magic thing.
In 1945, with the Nazi regime defeated, members of an elite U.S. scientific intelligence initiative, well, they weren't too elite if they were members of the U.S. government anything, made their way to Berlin to scoop up as much intel as possible on German military projects. In the bombed-out remnants of a villa in an affluent neighborhood in southwestern Berlin, they uncovered a cache of documents and artifacts that were part of the... I'm not going to try to pronounce that further. Himmler's science organization, which was well-funded and fast. It even had an entire branch devoted to the survey of the so-called occult sciences. So that's not surprising. I mean, we did know that about the Nazis. The high-ranking Nazi leader was obsessed with the occult. Again, not surprised. On Himmler's orders, SS officers raided Germany's occupied territories for artifacts related to magic, even ransacking museums in Poland, Ukraine, and the Crimea. Which is it?
I don't know exactly how that's pronounced. Crimea?
That's what I would assume, but it didn't feel right when I said it. Whatever. Nazi scientists at this scientific organization scoured the globe for items like the Holy Grail and the Lance of Destiny, the spear thought to have killed Jesus Christ. That's exactly my response to this, by the way, is just Jesus Christ. In that organization, there was ESP, psychokinesis, map dowsing, an element of what you could say was the supernatural or the paranormal, as well as a baby skull in a corner pit of ashes. We later learned that the Soviets had captured an equal probe of information on this same subject when we learned that they were working in this area, and you could say that's how the psychic arms race began. Of course, the Cold War then spilled into psychic research, taking off in the 1950s when it set about countering Soviet mind control, thought to be a legitimate concern at the time by lunatics, and it was based at least partially off of Nazi research uncovered. Both the U.S. and the Soviet Union relied on the caches of Nazi research they recovered, some of which detailed experiments conducted at concentration camps, where Nazi scientists pushed human physiology to extremes and monitored the results. Now the CIA and KGB conducted similar experiments, each side arguing that the other side's program required countermeasures to defend against them.
So
that was the Cold War as a whole.
Yeah, so they kept doing this mind control BS for decades because the other side was doing it. There you are.
Yep, that sounds about right. And we're going to go to Cal from New York here, who wants to talk about Nazis, apparently. Cal, what is on your mind?
Good evening, ma'am and sir.
Good evening.
My family came to United States after the fall of the Third Reich, and my family, they are a Jewish family. We were from Poland, and we moved here after the war. Thankfully, we were able to escape the rampage of the Soviet Union after the fall of Nazism. We were some of the few families that were able to get out after that.
That's fortunate.
And while we were under Nazi, my parents and my grandparents told me the story hundreds of times. Not hundreds, obviously, because you can't tell a story of over 100 times, but you get the idea that they told me this a lot. Was when the Nazis got into Poland, and as you know, half the country was taken over by the Soviets, half by Germany.
Right.
We were on the German side of that, and then the entire thing became German when Hitler attacked Stalin. But that's beside the point. We were on the German side of that shit.
Sorry about that. You can't say things like that on the air. I think it was going to be a legitimate call otherwise, but again, you can't say things like that, so we have to drop the call and then hit the dump button, which is this cool little technology that pretty much dumps the last 4 seconds of... I mean, you were heard by 16 people on Twitch and some number on YouTube. I don't know what it is at the moment, but not a significant number. But it certainly didn't go out on the airwaves or on the satellite feed or on the audio stream at discord.lrn.fm. Unfortunately, I'm not even sure what he wanted to get at.
He was kind of... I don't know if he was even going to get to a point there. So I don't know. If you're going to call and you've got a point, that it helps. If you got a background story, yeah, but you do want to get to your point.
Well, Packasniffer seems to think that he was building up to a joke. Well, he didn't get to it, so better luck next time. Decorated World War II hero Ninol Nina Kulagina was the Soviet Union's most... apparently other people agree, so apparently it's just a joke I've never heard before. Was the Soviet Union's most famous psychic, rumored to have the ability to stop an animal's beating heart using psychokinesis, the supposed ability to perturb matter with the mind. We look back now and say, that's ridiculous. You can't brainwash someone. But it certainly looked that way when you watched those old black and white images of POWs. Jacobson explains, adding that the government's exploration into psychic phenomena began as part of MK Ultra. Now, if you've never researched MK Ultra, you should, because your government did some of the most horrific things you will ever hear about your government doing in the course of this. The CIA-backed mind control program, and it was a mind control program. They were attempting to learn to control people's minds. Your government was murdering and torturing in an effort to manipulate people's minds, to control people's minds, all funded by American taxpayer dollars. But it officially started in 1953, ran well into the 1960s, and is probably running today under a slightly different moniker. I don't believe that once the government starts doing this kind of thing, they just stop it. But this is the call to freedom. Don't go anywhere.
Did you know you can legally exit the U.S. federal income tax system? Well, it's true, and thousands of American nationals are doing it. The 16th Amendment and the Internal Revenue Code are legal, but only in a limited jurisdiction. This is the basis behind the voluntary nature of the income tax. Learn the exit strategy provided by Congress. Find out more by visiting weissparis.com and watch our numerous videos. That's WEISS Paris.com.
Why did you move to the Shire?
I moved here to the Shire because there's other people around who take liberty just as seriously as I do.
I moved to the Shire because I saw videos of people challenging authority and thought that I could get support myself. It called to me, like, do this, right now.
I wanted to be around people like me who got it, and once I got here, I knew there was nowhere else that I wanted to be.
I've always wanted to change the world.
So I moved to the Shire to join people who were actually working towards doing the same thing.
The people here are awesome, loving, and positive. It was for the adventure and for the feeling of something important is happening here. And I just wanted to come to sort of be part of that.
Visit ShireSociety.com to read and sign the Shire Society Declaration and learn the reasons why, if you love liberty, you should immigrate to the Shire. Plus, connect with others via the forum at ShireSociety.com. That's ShireSociety.com. Did you know we've taken our LRN.FM telephone listen line to a new level with the LRN.FM audio on demand line? Now you can call 712-770-8447 anytime and listen to LRN.FM's live feed. And you can listen to a bunch of our original shows on demand. Long distance fees may apply. Just dial 712-770-8447 and choose from the menu. 712-770-8447.
Free speech is protected on the internet, right? Not always. Government agencies try to limit free speech and commerce on the net. Luckily, when they do, the Institute for Justice is there to defend your First Amendment right to free speech. IJ helped set the first federal precedent for internet free speech in 1999, and ever since has worked to prevent unconstitutional roadblocks in cyberspace. Visit our website today at ij.org.
Some of you asked, and now we've delivered. LRN.FM's live Keene, New Hampshire studio shows are now streamed in HD on Twitch. Visit our channel at twitch.lrn.fm and give it a follow. If you have Amazon Prime, you get one free subscription on Twitch. If you use it on our channel, Twitch will give LRN.FM a monthly piece of your Prime subscription cost. So please watch, follow, share, and subscribe to twitch.lrn.fm. That's twitch.lrn.fm. Hey, I'm LRN.FM Program Director Ian Freeman. If you're listening to our free-to-air satellite feed in North or Central America, heads up! We've been on the Galaxy 19 satellite since 2010, but now our satellite provider is moving LRN.FM to a new channel on a different transponder. The current channel will stay on the air until the end of May to give you time to transition without any loss of service, so don't delay. I've posted the new channel details at sat.lrn.fm, but in case you're listening with no internet access, if you do a blind scan on your receiver, you should see the new channel at transponder 6, 11.8425 GHz, horizontal polarization, symbol rate 22,000, FEC 3/4. All that information is at sat.lrn.fm, as well as a link to our Patreon, where you can support our channels for just $2 a month. Visit sat.lrn.fm for more information about our international satellite channels, and thanks for listening to LRN.fm.
You can sign up to receive the latest about the Liberty Radio Network via our email updates at updates.lrn.fm. That's updates.lrn.fm.
All right, welcome back. This is The Call to Freedom here on LRN.FM, and I'd like to remind you that our podcasts have moved. They can no longer be found at Spreaker. They are instead on Podbean, which you can find at calltofreedomlive.podbean.com. And interesting news in regard to the Arab Andy group, I have just been kicked from their Discord server.
Oh, no.
Right. No, I didn't say they were friends. I said I didn't think they were going to mess with us further because I was, technically a member. That, though, is the best thing ever. That's like declaring me the victor in this little exchange we've been having. Kicking me from the server. That is so awesome.
Come on, you
guys are terrible trolls anyway. I mean, you know that, right?
You can't handle one little girl?
The one good thing that came... the one good thing that you guys had was the caveman comparison, which I took and then shared to my social media because it was funny. So you're not even successful at that when you're good, much less when you're trying to, spam up the call-in lines and things like that. It's just, you're too obvious. You may get one caller on, but we have the dump button, and after that, we're going to be a little bit more cautious in how we screen calls. And when you call in, when you're in the Discord call-in line, you say when you want to talk about Saudi Arabia, and I ask what your thoughts are on it, and you respond, well, I want your thoughts on it, I'm going to go, well, we covered them during the first hour of the show.
Right.
Go watch that. I mean, this is asinine. It's terrible. This is not how you troll a radio show. You don't do it. I just can't get over it. It's so bad. They're so sloppy at it. But we are joined now by crap. I did not write down his name. Nigel. Nigel is his name. Nigel, what's on your mind?
Good memory, trans monster. Nigel Nudmanson. Arabandia scum. He's nothing but a camel face. He's either Arab. Learn how to troll in your mum's hole. Understand?
I did not understand most of that.
Were you speaking English?
Oh, I'm English, you bastard! My name is Nigel Nudmanson. I am a nude neo-Nazi diplomat from United Kingdom, Manchester. I heard of your little garbage program through my friends Paul Joseph Watson and Alex Jones, and I'm here to tell you that not only is I a psychic, but you was a scum! Scum!
Not only who was a psychic?
Who's a psychic?
Always, you dumb sodas!
Okay, yeah, you said you were speaking English, and that's why I'm having so much trouble, because I only speak American.
Well, I don't think anybody speaks whatever language it is he's speaking.
So I'm only getting like every third word.
I'll try to slow down and cut it down and make it a little more palatable for you, you stupid American Yanks. I'm trying to tell you, Sig Heil to Hitler and Breton Tarrant and anybody not white or cis or is garbage, including you trans monster.
Okay.
You want to hear more thoughts on it?
What does Sig Heil mean?
Sig Heil, Heil victory.
Okay. And you want to kill all the trans people? And all the...
Yes, yes, yes!
Why?
They scum! They's monsters! They takes the little boys and they makes them into women's into beds, right? Shag right beds. They's destroying all race. They's aided by the hook nosers. Oreo, what's your name, mate? Oreo? Is that your name there?
Yes.
Yeah, Oreo. Listen to me. Shut your face before I smash it. Trans monsters. That's transgenders, right? Bum rubbers, that's the queers. Moss hops, that's the lesbos. Nog nogs, you know who they is. They
Hold
got
on.
the pubic hair on their head.
Yeah, have a good day. Got to drop that call. Anybody who wants lesbians to die is not a good person. I don't know why anybody would want that. Lesbians are like God's gift to humanity, man. I'm sorry to break that to you. Lesbians are great. I could probably go the rest of my life. If I had to pick one porn category to watch for the rest of my life, it would be lesbian porn. I didn't know any. I thought lesbians were sort of exempted from the alt-right nonsense in the same way that. Well, I guess not.
Well,
the
they
same way
have to get a pass, because if they didn't, then who would make the lesbian porn?
Well, they don't. Well, if they want lesbians to die, they don't want lesbian porn, right?
Well, we're talking about the alt-right.
Right? Yeah.
You know these people can't get laid, right?
Yes, I'm keenly aware of that.
They have to get.
That is why they are the alt-right.
Well, they have to have porn, right?
Well, presumably they have to have porn. I don't know whether or not they do. I mean, you don't technically need porn to do that, right? It helps.
Yeah, if you're an alt-right incel in your mother's basement, yeah, the porn helps a lot.
Yeah, but I mean, it's not necessary to masturbate. I don't know why I was dancing around that word. It's not necessary. But moving forward with this article about the United States government doing its own investigations into paranormal activity, because things just kind of got stupid there and really off track. And this is a fascinating topic that I want to dive further into. They used LSD, acid, and dosed a lot of Americans with biological and chemical agents, often without the individual's knowledge. And one of the interesting... Have you ever seen the movie Abyss?
I don't think so.
Well, it's about this substance called heavy water or something along those lines, that it has a higher oxygen density. So it's technically breathable, but it's not exactly pleasant to breathe. So what I've heard, and I don't know to what extent this is true, but what I've heard is that there is an alternative waterboarding technique that is significantly worse than the cloth over the face thing. And that is that they put somebody in a barrel sort of thing, and they fill it with this heavy water that they can breathe. But they don't know they can breathe it, right? They think it's just ordinary water. And they also lace it with LSD.
Oh, my.
So when they get into this environment, you know, they finally have to gasp for air, and they suck down this breathable water, but they still pass out from the trauma of it, believing themselves to have died. So there they are, unconscious, on LSD, believing themselves to be dead. I can't imagine the kinds of horrors that this actually experiences. And then they pull them out, and they give them mouth-to-mouth and resuscitate them and all of that. And apparently, the experience is like being reborn. It's like dying and then being born again. And they do this just repeatedly to people until it just absolutely breaks them into pieces, where they've died thousands of times over the course of a few years and lose all perspective of what is real and what isn't, as you would expect somebody to do in those kind of situations. That's what I've heard. Anyway, I don't know if it's true or not. I don't know if heavy water is even a real thing. I've never looked into it that deeply.
Heavy water is a real thing, but I had never heard that it was breathable. That's not really computing.
Well, I will look into it during this next segment, because I certainly don't want to be saying things that are proven to be false. But that is what I have understood waterboarding to truly mean, and that the whole washcloth over the face thing is really just a less horrifying way that it was presented to the public, so that we didn't learn the truth of what our government was really doing to people, which wouldn't be surprising at all. But hopefully that isn't true, because I honestly can't imagine the trauma of believing yourself to have drowned and died and being on LSD through that experience. Jesus.
That's messed up.
But that if there was, you know, that if there was the capacity for humans to breathe any sort of water, whether it's heavy water or something else that they've adjusted, that's something that would have been done during MK Ultra or during whatever program the government is up to today that they're not telling us about. But both of the governments, the Soviet Union and the U.S., pointed to the other's research into mind control, counter mind control, and psychic phenomena in general as justification for these horrific things that they were doing. There were stories of Americans putting telepaths on nuclear submarines, of Soviet mind control rays. Somebody on Twitch says, we know that there are breathable liquids, so it's probably true, what I've heard. Okay. I don't know to what extent it's been done. But if there are breathable liquids, then I can't imagine the CIA hasn't utilized that to convince people that they've drowned. And we know they like dosing people with LSD in order to alter
choice.
Yeah, because they've done that countless times, and Project MK Ultra is just filled with it. But there was also a time a secretary with psychic powers found a downed Soviet bomber, apparently. So we're going to dig further into this paranormal, magical thinking and why governments of the world have invested so much money into this idiocy, so don't go anywhere.
So the protection of life, liberty, and property is what the Free State Project is all about. But it's an effort to move 20,000 people who understand.
It's about demonstrating to the entire country
that, yeah, we can have a free market, a truly free market.
Making it just a freer, great place to live.
It's the world's largest voluntarist libertarian community, and it's only getting bigger.
That's amazing, to be able to move to a place where other people passionately believe in being free and independent.
What the Free State Project is managing to do, though, is to put their money where their mouth is. It's physically getting up across the country and saying, let's go someplace and let's demonstrate the power of these ideas. There's a lot of kind of philosophy that surrounds liberty. There's a lot of thinking about it and talking about it. But here in New Hampshire, people are doing it.
101 Reasons Liberty Lives in New Hampshire, a documentary by Free State Project Early Movers. Watch it free at 101reasonsfilm.com. 101reasonsfilm.com.
Did you know you can listen to LRN.FM via our free-to-air satellite channels? We have channels over nearly all of North America and much of Africa. All you need is an affordable receiver and a dish as small as 30 inches. There are no monthly fees. Learn more at sat.lrn.fm. Plus, if you are a broadcaster or want to be one, this is a good delivery method for our content. See our coverage maps and get details at sat.lrn.fm. That's sat.lrn.fm. sat.lrn.fm.
There are basically two types of advertising, direct response and branding. Radio's great for direct response with its low cost to listener ratio, but audio can't be beat for branding, which is a longer-term endeavor. You want to be the first thing that someone thinks of when they think about your product or service. If you have a local business that you want kept top of mind in your community, call the station. If you need national reach, Free Talk Live's got around 200 radio stations, millions of monthly listening sessions, can suit all budgets, and if we don't think we're right for you, we'll tell you. Email me, mark@freetalklive.com.
More of the Call to Freedom is coming up next, live after the news on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.
This is the Liberty Beat, your daily source for Liberty news and activist updates. Produced in partnership with SNLS News and listeners like you. Online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. I'm Mick Murrow with your weekend edition of the Liberty Beat. Gold is trading at $1,289, silver at $15.10, and Bitcoin is trading around $5,018. Today's prices are brought to you by InnoScale. Take off with Managed Cloud. Looking for a safe, secure way to store your important files online? Let InnoScale handle it for you. Their high availability cloud servers are the perfect solution for clients needing one or more secure, scalable servers with built-in hardware failover protection. For details, see them online at innoscale.net. In the news, WikiLeaks on Thursday warned that its founder will be expelled within hours to days from Ecuador's London embassy, and that Ecuador has an agreement with Britain to have him arrested. President Lenin Moreno will use the pretext of a scandal engulfing his presidency to oust Assange, a high-level source in the Ecuador government told WikiLeaks. Activist Post reports Moreno has accused WikiLeaks of leaking documents allegedly implicating him and his family in a corruption scheme with a Panamanian investment firm, INA Investments Corporation. WikiLeaks has denied being behind the leaks, and no documents related to the scandal appear on the WikiLeaks website. Moreno said the alleged leak is a breach in a protocol with Assange that allows him to remain in the London embassy in exchange for his public silence on all political matters. The United States has revoked the visa of the chief prosecutor of the International Criminal Court, following a warning by the U.S. that they would deny entry to those investigating war crimes by American forces. The Liberty Beat is sponsored in part by Bray Botanicals, high-quality kratom and CBD at reasonable prices with excellent customer service. Bray Botanicals is activist-owned and mission-driven, fighting for your right to consume plant-based medicine and natural remedies. Find out more at mybraybotanicals.com. And right now, Liberty Beat listeners can save 10% by using promo code SNLS at checkout. This is the latest edition of the Liberty Beat, online at snls.news and libertybeat.news. I'm Mick Murrow. Your news now continues. On Wednesday, Secretary of Labor Alexander Acosta appeared before a Budget Appropriations Subcommittee to testify about the effectiveness of the Labor Department's 2020 budget, which calls for a 10% cut in programs affecting millions of workers. The Free Thought Project reports that when it came time for Acosta to testify whether or not he could safeguard children from illegal labor practices and combat human trafficking, multiple lawmakers grilled him over the sweetheart deal he gave convicted billionaire pedophile Jeffrey Epstein, who is also suspected of running a massive child sex trafficking ring. During testimony, Acosta defended his cuts to multiple programs, noting that the new budget provides greater investment in programs that work, eliminates programs that do not, and generally bolsters opportunities for working Americans through common sense reforms. However, some of the cuts are to programs designed to stop child trafficking, which makes very little common sense, given the administration's ostensible view on the matter. When the cuts to the programs designed to prevent human trafficking were brought up, lawmakers were given the green light to bring up the Epstein conspiracy. As Benjamin Netanyahu returns from Washington to Jerusalem, determined to keep his seat as Israel's prime minister, it's clear that the final status issues, the issues between Israel and the Palestinians that Israel never wants to discuss, are being eliminated one by one, in a regional scheme that's titled Deal of the Century. Mid-Press News reports the so-called deal will be the final undoing of Palestinian hopes for justice, self-determination, and return. From the reckless declaration by President Donald Trump that the United States recognizes Jerusalem as the capital city of Israel, to his more recent proclamation that the United States recognized Israeli sovereignty over the Syrian Golan Heights, it's becoming clear what the deal of the century will entail. Disregard of the Palestinians and recognition of Israeli rights to all of Palestine. Support for the Liberty Beat comes from the Conscious Resistance Network, featuring videos, news reports, and articles from a spiritual anarchist perspective. Experience the Conscious Resistance at theconsciousresistance.com. How would you like to have your business featured on the Liberty Beat? You can just send an email to libertybeat@snls.news for details. This is the Liberty Beat, produced in partnership with SNLS News and listeners like you. The Liberty Beat is online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. I'm Mick Murrow, reporting with the latest edition of the Liberty Beat, reminding you, spread liberty with a smile.
It's the Onion Radio News. Hager physicists have created quantum slacks. This is Doyle Redland reporting. The stunning announcement that a team of Hager physicists has successfully developed quantum slacks was made this morning at a press conference in Philadelphia. According to Dr. Daniel Chang, head of the Hager team, conventional notions about the physical properties and possibilities of slacks have been turned on their heads.
We are on the verge of unzipping the secrets of creation and peering into the pants of God himself. It appears the very fabric of the universe may well be a smart cotton twill weave.
However, Chang urged caution in further research after tests conducted last month at the Hager Pants Propulsion Collider Laboratory in Dallas suggested the possible existence of so-called anti-pants, which could, in theory, initiate a chain reaction resulting in no pants at all. Doyle Redland for the Onion Radio News, online at theonion.com.
This is the Onion News Network.
All right, welcome back. This is The Call to Freedom. As always, I am your host, Arya DeMesso of theanarchistgmail.com and author of Dancing and Hellfire, which you can find on Amazon. And I just realized that the Crypto Hour music bed, which was the Mega Man 2 Wily Stage 1 music, is actually no longer in the rotation.
Yeah, it's gone.
Yeah. I would like that. I'll message about it later on Telegram because everybody's kind of busy at the moment. But I like that song. I'd like it back. It's great song.
We'll throw it back. We might have to actually talk about crypto one of these weeks.
Yeah, well, I mean, crypto is kind of not really doing a whole lot. But, I mean, even if it was the Crypto Hour opening music, right? But we no longer do Crypto Hour.
Right.
So the music bed just went away. But we can get it back. I want it back. Yes, we are taking calls. We've been asking on Discord. That number is 603-283-6160. But before we get to that,
both those lines are full right now.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Two of our Discord lines are also being consumed. I'm just curious, how much of their time we can consume with no effort on our parts.
Probably all of it. How many of them are there, and how many of we've only got an hour left in the show, so.
And to me, the best part is that one of them left. I guess that's how much time we can take up. Is that this is what they perceive as winning this little encounter.
What are they even winning? I mean,
I don't know. To me, it's infinitely amusing, but I'm a troll at heart myself.
Is this Charlie Sheen winning?
It's like throwing matches on a burning fire when people try to troll me. It's like, dude, I call myself the anarchist she-male. I troll people with my existence, and you're trying to troll me. You're gonna have to step up your game, man, because these little innocuous things are just not going to do it. But we are joined now because we've been discussing paranormal activity. We're joined now by Tyler from Michigan, who would like to discuss it because he says his basement appears to be haunted. So Tyler, you want to tell us a bit more about that?
Yeah, absolutely. So like I told the screener, I've been doing some testing, recording in my basement, and I'm getting activity. I'm picking up images on the videos when I watch them the next morning. And, you know, all the typical noises and, you know, stuff, you know, falling off the shelves, that's happening. And with the videos now, I'm actually able to see what's really going on down there.
And what is really going on down there?
It's almost like a farm they're running down there.
Who's running a farm in your basement?
Oh, good God. Good try. He seems to have hung up anyway, or line 1 froze or something along those lines. It was going to be another idiotic Rosa Parks joke.
Oh.
I don't know why they're making that joke, but it's a stupid joke. It's not funny, and you telegraphed it from so far away. You put so much work into that, too. Like, I mean, he sat there for a good 10 minutes on hold because we were out to break.
Yeah.
And
I don't know
and
what
had a
you
conversation with me about it prior to coming onto the show. And yeah.
I don't know what you won, but I hope it was worth it.
I hope he's watching right now to realize that, you know, we dropped his call and that he sucks at this. And really, I swear, I don't know how you can be so bad at trolling while considering yourselves to be trolls. But we're also joined, because it's one of those days, by Paul. Paul, what's on your mind? Oh, I still got you muted. Hold on. Sorry.
Oops.
Go ahead, Paul. Well, I saw the other guy's joke coming, so I hit the dump button, but it didn't dump. It just sort of stayed lit, so I hit the mute button. Paul,
you ruined my perfect intro, you bloody period head. This is Paul Joseph Watson of Infowars.com and PrisonPlanet.com. How are you all doing today?
I'm doing good. How are you?
I've got a little migraine.
No,
How are you?
Ignore that question. What's on your mind, more specifically?
Well, that sure wasn't tense at all. Anyway, it's quite rather pathetic how deeply your show has sunken into the depths of obscurity and mediocrity when here you are battling stupid trolls that sound like this, scream the N-word. Anyway, you hung up on Nigel Newdmanson. Do you have any idea who he is?
No.
I don't.
Well, I'll have you... All right, then. I'll tell you right quick. I'll have you know that he's partnered with Alex Jones and myself into doing an amazing new project for transgender youth, and you scum have hung up on him.
Well, he said he criticized lesbians.
Well, sure he did. He called them muff-huffers or something, but he calls everybody mean names unless you're a straight white cis man. The point is, you have no idea, Aria. He is the premier Obersturmführer of neo-Nazi nudism in the UK. He's committed horrible hate crime beatings against blacks and minorities, gays and trans and whatever. But his new venture, I think you'll find, and I have another point after this, so I'm not just trolling, I think you'll find it's quite wonderful, and his reputation...
Okay, do you have anything of substance you would like to say?
Yes, he's opening a trans suicide hotline.
Okay, well, that's good.
What? How is that going to work?
No, Aria, here's the thing. It's encouraging transgender youth to kill themselves. It's 188 kill in the UK, and it's going to be really big. Alex Jones is behind it. I'm behind it. InfoWars loves it. What do you think?
I think you're really lucky that wasn't a real phone number, or I would have, hung up on you and dropped the call. Of course, you knew it wasn't a real phone number.
If all the transgender people kill themselves, where is Alex Jones going to get his porn?
I don't know how to answer. I'll have to go to our sources at 4chan and 8chan and Wolfgang Halbig. At least we have legitimate sources, unlike stupid garbage, liberty, pedophile Ian Freeman radio. I'm just kidding, Ian, but we know he's a Soros operative. Look, I'll get off of here, but I just want to tell you all one last thing, if I could, real quick.
Yeah.
One last thing.
If you want to actually tell us something of substance, I mean, so far you have not.
That is of substance. What if I don't give you some Spyro with it? It doesn't matter. Your cisphobia is horrific. I'll have to say.
No,
you're not having a good day. I'll get off of here. But look, I want to tell you, she is he or whatever the thing. I'm sorry, Aria. I think you're very nice, but I got to say that because we're rolling here on InfoWars.
Get to your point, man.
All right, man. My point is that Alex Jones is being sued currently, not only for forcing you to top him, but also by the Sandy Hook families, right?
I have never topped Alex Jones.
Well, that's not what he says, but we're going to make it look like you were the rapist and we're coming after you. So look out for 500 anti-transgender bikers with lead pipes coming to New Hampshire. Anyway, it'll be a lot of fun. The point is that Oh, now you're laughing. Now I've tickled your little bums there. All right, very good. So listen, let me get to the point there. All right? The point is we have irrefutable evidence, as you'll see in the deposition if you watch it, that Alex Jones, the Sandy Hook victims, cannot possibly be dead, those kids. You know what the proof is?
No, what's the proof?
It's talking about the paranormal like you were talking about, right? The proof is that those children's ghosts have not come back from the grave like Casper to haunt Alex Jones. Bye.
All right.
Okay.
So there was ultimately no point, unfortunately.
No, but...
That was funny, though. I really like the characterization of, it'll be lots of fun. These 500 bikers coming with lead pipes or whatever. Of course, I am armed, so I would suggest they keep that in mind.
Yes, and well, you'll have to bring your 500-round magazine.
Yeah, I don't normally carry 500 bullets with me, but I don't think if you're being attacked by 500 people that it's probably really necessary to shoot all 500. I imagine the shooting the first 2 or 3 will take care of the job.
Yeah, it'll discourage the rest.
But anyway, this is the Call to Freedom. Don't go anywhere because there's so much idiocy coming to us from the U.S. government that they make the trolling look intelligent. And we're going to get further into that. Don't go anywhere.
What do you shop for that you could otherwise buy at Amazon? Pretty much everything, right? Amazon has competitive pricing and they deliver, and that's a big plus. If you could plan ahead in your shopping, would you be interested in saving up to 33%? There's a catch. You have to do your shopping in Bitcoin. But imagine those savings. It's like a huge raise. All you have to do is go to saveitpurse.com. We've saved thousands, and you can too. Plan ahead and save. Saveitpurse.com.
If you're looking for work, the person you are applying to is probably so swamped with applicants that he or she is tough to reach. So call early in the day, before 8 a.m., before the palace guards arrive. You'll need your prospect's direct number, and here's a sneaky way to get it. Suppose the company's main number is 555-5000. You should call 555-5012. When someone says, "Good morning, Pam Johnson," you should innocently say, "Oops, somebody here must have written this down wrong. I was calling for Tom Frederick. What's his direct number?" If the very next thing you hear isn't Pam giving you Tom's number, it may be, "Good morning, Tom Frederick." For more tips for job seekers and getting better results in all your day-to-day communication, hit survivalspeech.com. I'm Holland Cook.
Now that you've found the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM, you may want to help expose others to our great programs. To assist you in doing so, you'll find resources at promote.lrn.fm, including details on how to get a free bumper sticker, quarter-page flyers you can print out and distribute, banners for your website, as well as files that will allow you to make your own custom banners and graphics. Visit promote.lrn.fm and help bring new listeners to the Liberty Radio Network. That's promote.lrn.fm.
Looking for a great real estate investment? Consider New Hampshire, which is ground zero for the Liberty Movement. Your first call should be to Mark Worden from Porcupine Real Estate. He's more than just a real estate agent. He's your New Hampshire concierge. Where are the best places to live? Do you want farm, city, the burbs, or forest? Do you want a duplex or multifamily building so that renters pay your mortgage? There are homes in all price ranges in New Hampshire, and Mark can help with financing too. Invest in liberty and property. Mark Worden can help.
PorcupineRealEstate.com.
LRN.FM is proud to announce our official listening apps for Android and iOS devices. Now you can easily tune into our streams anywhere, anytime on your smartphone or tablet. Just visit apps.lrn.fm or search for lrn.fm in the Android or Apple app stores. Please download, rate us 5 stars, then share the link on your social media and let your friends and family know how you're listening to lrn.fm. Download it now, free at apps.lrn.fm.
Would you like to hang out with Penn Jillette? He's keynoting Freedom Fest this year. I, for one, am thrilled. Freedom Fest is the largest liberty-oriented gathering in the world. They take a Big Ten approach with libertarians, conservatives, liberals, anarchists, and just open-minded people mingling together to hear real debates, share real solutions, and converse freely. This year's theme is the Wild West, a time of liberty and opportunity, or a time of anarchy and violence. Maybe both. Go to freedomfest.com/FTL and get your tickets now. freedomfest.com/FTL. Not convinced yet? Hey, I understand. It's a high-end event, even with coupon code FTLEB. Sure, you're likely to receive investment advice that'll make that sum seem paltry, but I have something special for you. Go to freedomfest.com/FTL and you'll get the 5 best speeches from last year for free. Call it a test drive. Do yourself a favor and go to freedomfest.com/FTL. freedomfest.com/FTL. Use coupon code FTLEB for a discount.
What's up next? Visit the Liberty Radio Network program guide to find out at shows.lrn.fm. That's shows.lrn.fm.
Yeah.
All right, welcome back. This is the Call to Freedom. As always, you're invited to give us a call at 603-283-6160. Again, that's 603-283-6160. Or you can use the Discord call-in lines, which we'd actually prefer. And you can find it at discord.lrn.fm. Now, Steve was just trying to get on the show and said something to the effect of grapes growing on trees.
Yeah, grapes don't grow on trees.
But he did present a picture of a grapevine that could fairly be described as a tree. So I am back to assuming he's legitimate. Stephen, if you would like to call the show, my apologies for that. As I explained in the Discord, we've been dealing with idiots all day. So we assumed, given that you had just joined the server at the same time the trolls did, that you were one of them. But we're going to go now to Mr. Fish Bash now, formerly known as so-called Fash Bash, on our so-called Discord server, with the so-called trans chick hosting the so-called Call to Freedom. Most people won't get that, but we do. And if you're on the Discord server, chances are you get it too. And your thoughts are on paranormal activity and how what people are perceiving as paranormal activity are more often than not things that are just happening in their heads. It's like pareidolia and things like that, correct?
Oh, well, I'm not too familiar with that word. I'd have to look that one up.
Well,
so-called pareidolia.
Yeah, so-called pareidolia. Perfect.
Well, good evening, so-called Arya.
It's the tendency of people to look at shadows and see faces and things like that.
Yes, pattern recognition.
The patterns in the clouds, that kind of thing?
Yeah.
Okay.
Right, and I've always been interested in reports of paranormal stuff. I listened to Coast to Coast for the longest time, and I think a lot of that was...
Their show was really weird, right?
Yes. Oh, it was great. One of my favorite things about it, though, is that I believe that it was, to a large extent, just a giant campfire, people telling ghost stories around it, seeing how believable they could come off.
That's a really good characterization of Coast to Coast. And it started at midnight, that's when the show came on.
So you've got a perfect atmosphere to tell scary stories. And I think a lot of them were made up by people who just wanted to tell a story and entertain.
Right.
But I also certainly believe that many people very genuinely believe that they've seen ghosts and monsters and UFOs. And I'm not going to write off all of it. But I do think that most of this happens inside people's heads and not out in the world, because when you look at how perception works, very bizarre things can happen.
Sure. I'm willing to write off the bulk of it for various reasons. Like the UFO abduction stories, I write off wholesale because I have sleep apnea and I've experienced sleep paralysis on a number of occasions where I don't want to say literally because it's not literally, but where I did, in fact, perceive myself to be on a UFO riding among the stars being experimented upon by aliens.
Did you get the anal probe?
No. As a result,
you missed out
of this sleep paralysis. Can you not do that when I'm speaking?
Sorry, I thought it was going to be very quiet.
Anyway, so I mean that's generally how these stories turn out to be. People believe that because I don't know, it's just a tendency that's been going on since the Middle Ages. There's a lot of really good artwork about it where people experience demons attacking them and things like that. I've been stabbed in the foot by a Grim Reaper. And of course, none of it's real. It's all dreaming, but because you're in that state of sleep paralysis, you don't recognize yourself to be dreaming. Your eyes are open in these experiences, and you cannot wake yourself up.
You can't move? You can't do anything?
No. It's truly horrifying. It is, and it's traumatizing. And when it happens, generally people don't sleep the same way ever again.
Right, and these perceptions are completely real. They're happening just the same as when you look out around you or you hear something that is firing neurons in your brain.
What is real?
That is exactly why it's so traumatizing.
Even without.
I mean, all we have is our perceptions. It's literally, that's what real is to us.
The brain in a jar, so to speak.
Well, I mean, we can't demonstrate otherwise because all we can do is perceive, and that same brain in the jar would imagine those things to be true. It would imagine those perceptions to be accurate, whether or not they were. But more generally, yeah, you're correct in that they are at least as real as anything else. Like these experiences with sleep paralysis that I've had of being cataloged by demons and taken for a ride through stars and stabbed in the foot by Grim Reapers, when you're experiencing them, there is no distinction. You can't, I think they said in the movie Inception, you can't spot a dream while you're having it. And that is more often than not true unless you train yourself to using lucid dreaming and things like that, which is another aspect of these sleep apnea, sleep paralysis experiences. But they certainly feel 100% real. Like in that moment, I genuinely felt what it was like to be stabbed in the foot because pain is 100% in the brain anyway, right?
Right.
So if my brain was convinced I had been stabbed in the foot, then that is precisely what I felt.
Now, all that said, I think it would be foolish to write off every report as a delusion because there is so much that we don't know, both inside the brain and out. And to say, well, there can't be UFOs. Well, I'm sure there are UFOs and probably not aliens, but there are certainly things that we've perceived out there, that we've detected out there, that other people can show you that we don't understand.
Yeah, like we were talking about in the first hour, I have little doubt that there's extraterrestrial life. I just wonder what in the world they would be doing at this little primitive backwater planet.
Trolling Discord.
Badly.
Oh. No. Those wouldn't be the aliens. Those would be even more primitive.
Oh, yeah, good point.
You got to build a wall. Dyson sphere.
Keep out the trolls.
All right, well, thanks for the call, Fastpass.
Absolutely, thanks for taking it.
Yeah, anytime. Of course, he's been on the Discord server for quite a while, so he's welcome to call on the show. We know he's legit. But yeah, so a lot of these stories are ultimately made up, some of them maliciously by people who just want other people to believe they're true. But I think in regard to the alien abduction stories, again, because I have, in the same sense as anyone else, been abducted by aliens, I just had the awareness at that point to recognize that, I had not, in fact, been abducted by aliens and that I was imagining the whole thing because I read a lot. So as a young adult, the first time I experienced this, I had already read about this thing called sleep paralysis and knew what I was experiencing. That didn't make it any less jarring because at the time, sleep apnea causes you to stop breathing in your sleep. And that's what triggered the entire experience to start, was that I stopped breathing, could not wake myself up, and honestly thought I was going to die, lie there laying in the bed, unable to breathe and unable to move, unable to wake myself up. Not fun. It then later evolved to things like the demons cataloging me with watery, deep voices and the extraterrestrials and all of that. But by then, having experienced it already, I'd certainly researched it further and was like, okay, so I see now why people believe these to be legitimate when they experience them and miscategorize them as alien abductions. So we're going to get back into the U.S. government's paranormal research, so don't go anywhere. There's lots to go over.
Don't you hate that feeling in the pit of your stomach when the police pull you over? Most people have no idea how to handle it properly, and they promptly get fed into the municipal fee-generating meat grinder. Or maybe you recall that feeling you get when you go to the mailbox and see one or more letters from the IRS. You get a sense of impending doom, don't you? So let me ask you, if you could learn how to use the law to beat the IRS, traffic tickets, almost any courtroom scenario, collectors, credit card debt, and even mortgage debt because of fraud perpetrated against you, would that be worth knowing about? Don't laugh. Investigate. Check out the life-changing benefits of the Lighthouse Law Club at their website, lighthouselaw.club. That's lighthouselaw.club. And while you're at it, visit the Lighthouse Law Club YouTube channel. You might be in for a pleasant surprise.
Are you tired of governments murdering people around the world? Stop using their money. There is an alternative. Bitcoin is a stateless, free market, non-political currency. Bitcoin cannot be inflated or controlled by any government. By using their money, you are helping the state. You have an incredible alternative available now. Learn it, use it, spread it. Get started with Bitcoin at bitcoin.com. That's bitcoin.com.
Free Talk Live.
I use the downsizedc.org system for responding to my Congress critters and talking to the thieves and liars and despots in Washington, D.C. And in these letters, they outline the issue for me. And then they flush it down the toilet. And it's so demeaning. Yeah. They just don't care what I think. I can tell them, he'll
pretend like he cares if he's trying to get elected.
They only care what you think if you're giving them a check with, 5 digits on it. Then you might be able to get them to do something. Yeah. But that's just one senator among the 535 disgusting, dishonorable thieves. What's a guy to do? These lobbying groups, they run Washington. Washington has been taken over. It does not belong to the American people. It doesn't do anything for the American people. It is a bad, bad place.
Free Talk Live, 7 nights a week from 7 to 10 Eastern, live on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
There are lots of ways to listen to Free Talk Live. Our podcast has been around since podcasts began, and now the FTL feed is loaded with content besides our full show archives. Did you know that we make it easy for you to customize your podcast subscriptions? We have different feeds, one that includes only our full shows, one with just the Daily Digest, and one with just the Edgington Post. You decide what you listen to. It's quick and easy to customize your feeds at feeds.freetalklive.com. That's feeds.freetalklive.com. Is spreading the message of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace around the globe worth $2 per month to you? As you may already know, in addition to our internet feed, LRN.FM broadcasts on free-to-air satellite across North and Central America, as well as Sub-Saharan Africa. And we've been available on satellite for free 24/7 since 2010. The LRN.FM free-to-air satellite signal is reaching some of the most oppressive regimes in the world, and there's no doubt our ideas are making an impact. You can learn more about the channel's impact by watching the 3-minute video at fund.lrn.fm. If you'd like to help free minds globally with our ideas of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace, you can donate as little as $2 per month via fund.lrn.fm. You can help us continue and expand our satellite broadcast to multiple continents. Visit fund.lrn.fm today, and thank you for your help. Don't forget to share the link on social media. That's fund.lrn.fm.
Join the LRN.FM Discord for live chat 24/7 at discord.lrn.fm. That's discord.lrn.fm.
welcome back. This is The Call to Freedom here on LRN.FM. As always, you're invited to give us a call at 603-283-6160. Again, that's 603-283-6160, or you can use the Discord call-in lines, which you can find at discord.lrn.fm. Don't be surprised if we don't let you on the air. These trolls are butthurt about something.
Yeah,
they're apparently butthurt because we wouldn't let them on the air. And that seems to be why I was kicked from the server, which to me, God, I love it. That's almost as good as Cantwell storming out.
Yeah, as far as winning goes, you won.
Yeah, thank you. So, it's not a big deal. We are not actually a call-in show. We do take calls, but I mean, it's not a big deal to us if we never get a call. So
yeah, we've got so much to talk about, we could never possibly get to it all.
And if we ever run out, somebody can just say, Aria, rant about something, and I will rant for the next 2 hours about something that pisses me off. Speaking of Aria ranting, I have finally decided on the hook for Aria Uncensored.
Yes.
This is absolutely what I'm going to call it, by the way. Hey, Twitch trolls, you got to check that out because it's going to be great. It's going to air on Tuesday night at 10 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Tuesday night.
That will be the first episode. It's called Aria Uncensored. And during it, I will be topless.
Topless.
And the show will be totally uncensored, and I am going to say anything and everything I want, and you're invited to as well.
And that's going to be on your own Twitch channel.
It will be on my, yes.
But it'll be auto-hosted here?
I don't know.
We don't know.
Ian may turn off auto-hosting for that, because I am planning deliberately to violate Twitch's terms of service.
Ooh.
In a flagrant way. In fact.
Yeah, being topless is pretty flagrant.
Yeah, but it should be great, right? It should. I mean, and I don't have huge boobs or anything like that. Nobody's going to watch to drool over my boobs. I'm doing it.
I don't know. You may have some people here who are going to watch to drool over your boobs.
By the way, trolls who are watching and trying to troll us, this is how you do it. If you want to troll, this is how you do it. You take off your top and you create a show called Aria Uncensored where you're a trans chick trolling Twitch. That's what you do.
This is expert level trolling here. No. Just this thought occurred to me during the last segment. For all the people listening who clearly need help with this, where can they get help learning the basics of how to troll?
I don't know. It's so instinctual to me, right? Like I never learned to troll. It's just I get a sense for what pushes people's buttons, and luckily people like Twitch make it known what pushes their buttons. Female presenting nipples. So I'm going to push both of those buttons hard. Yeah. I'll rub some ice on my nipples first too. That ought to be great. But yeah, I don't know where 4chan would probably be a really good place to start, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because that's just all it is. The Arab Andy Discord server, they're bad at it, and you can see that. It becomes obvious almost immediately because they spend a lot of their time trolling themselves and their own Discord server. It was absolutely unusable for a huge part of April the 1st, and it was because they were just trolling themselves. It's like, when you're so bad at it, see, that's the issue. They're not trolling in the sense that people ordinarily do. They're just taking their own animosity and hostility that they have and throwing it at random at whoever they happen to see.
Yeah, that doesn't work too well.
No, you have to be more deliberate. You have to be more careful. You have to be
targeted.
You have to be smarter, at least. But anyway, getting back to the story about the paranormal research being done by various governments. Apparently, a secretary who had psychic powers took part in a remote viewing program, but it is essentially the idea that someone can visualize details of distant people and objects through telekinesis. And of course, that's a fancy way of saying it's BS.
Yeah, that's what remote viewing is.
But there was a remote viewing operations building located on the Fort George Meade Army facility in Maryland.
Now, that's the little army base that's attached to NSA headquarters.
Oh, that's good. A small operation was run. Its chief employed a secretary, Rosemary Smith, who believed she had psychic powers. It was a very small budgeted program, thank God, because most people thought it was bananas, as they should have. That changed in times of emergency, like in 1976, when the remote viewing team was given a whopper of a mission. A Soviet bomber had gone down in the jungles of Africa, and the CIA and military intelligence had used every intelligence collection means available to them, from satellite technology to SIGINT to human intelligence, and they had nothing, which means they tortured a lot of people.
Yeah.
With nothing left to lose, the military contacted the remote viewing operation, and they put the secretary... So hold on.
Smith, they put the secretary on the job.
Time out. Because all we've heard is about the operations manager or whatever and the secretary. Why didn't they put the remote viewing team that was supposed to be there on it? Was it just the secretary?
Because the secretary was the remote viewing team.
So it was just a dude and a chick out in this shed calling themselves the remote viewing team, probably giving each other head all day long.
Yeah, it could be.
And they go, oh, crap, we have to pretend to do something. And she goes, it's in Tunisia.
Yeah, apparently they found the plane.
This is insane. They put the secretary on the job, and she was able to draw maps that pinpointed where this aircraft was within a few miles. The cable was sent to the CIA. They sent a paramilitary team out to the jungle, and near the area where Rosemary Smith said it would be, they saw a Voyager carrying a piece of aircraft out of the jungle, and that led them to the crash site. It was an earth-shattering event. A psychic was able to produce actionable intelligence that no one else could.
Now, the CIA's remote viewing program was called Project Stargate. This is something Chris Reitman tipped us off to during the break.
Right.
And I looked this up, and apparently this project is still going.
I can't pretend to be surprised.
They renamed it, but it's still going.
And this is how did it originate? What was the name of it when it originated?
Project Stargate apparently was the original name.
Okay.
And I actually closed that tab, so I have to find it again.
But then there were the men who stared at goats. One Army unit, known as Detachment G, was established by top-ranking officials who were leery about the idea of bringing on psychics for research. So they stocked the program from within the Army's ranks. One of the unit's taskings was remote viewing. And in September of 1979, the National Security Council called on Detachment G to use their magical brain powers to investigate a Soviet naval base. While concentrating on a photo in a closed envelope, one of the unit's members described seeing a building on a shoreline, which smelled of gas and industrial products. Inside the building was a large coffin-like object, a weapon with fins, like a shark. A few months later, the CIA received satellite imagery showing that the Soviets had constructed a new ballistic missile submarine. Later made famous by its NATO designation, the Typhoon class, the hulking nuclear sub was known in the USSR as the Akula, Russian for shark. If this sounds like the basis of The Men Who Stare at Goats, it's because it is.
It is.
And there is no more truth in the film The Men Who Stare at Goats than there is in any other remote viewing claim. It's
indeed
absolute nonsense. And we still have not given up on this research. It is ongoing to this day, with the federal government spending your tax dollars to figure out how to control dolphins with their minds. And it's not working then, just like it did. It's not working now, just like it wasn't working then. This is the call to freedom.
So you've signed the Shire Society Declaration and are planning your move to New Hampshire to be around more liberty-oriented people. Next, sign up for the Shire Society Forum at forum.shiresociety.com. There are a bunch of people there who are already in the Shire, and they want to meet you. If you're already in the Shire physically, you should also come by the forums. Remember, not everyone uses Facebook. New people are signing up for the Shire Society Forum every month, so drop in and say hello at forum.shiresociety.com. Hey, I'm LRN.FM Program Director Ian Freeman. If you're listening to our free-to-air satellite feed in North or Central America, heads up! We've been on the Galaxy 19 satellite since 2010, but now our satellite provider is moving LRN.FM to a new channel on a different transponder. The current channel will stay on the air until the end of May to give you time to transition without any loss of service, so don't delay. I've posted the new channel details at sat.lrn.fm, but in case you're listening with no internet access, if you do a blind scan on your receiver, you should see the new channel at transponder 6, 11.8425 GHz, horizontal polarization, symbol rate 22,000, FEC 3/4. All that information is at sat.lrn.fm, as well as a link to our Patreon, where you can support our channels for just $2 a month. Visit sat.lrn.fm for more information about our international satellite channels, and thanks for listening to LRN.fm. LRN.fm now has a Discord. Discord is a free text and voice chat platform, and we now have our own server with a bunch of channels at discord.lrn.fm. You can join other listeners as they chat about various things during our live shows, or anytime, day or night. Discord software is available cross-platform, so you can have it on whatever device you want and take your chats anywhere. Join our Discord at discord.lrn.fm. That's discord.lrn.fm. The new 4th edition of Healing Our World, The Compassion of Libertarianism will take your understanding of liberty to a deeper level and has over 1,300 updated references, new cartoons, and a foreword by Dr. Ron Paul. With discounts for multiple book purchases, the 4th edition of Healing Our World is a great gift for the liberals, pragmatists, environmentalists, and Christians in your life who think libertarianism is cold-hearted. Get yours today at healing.freetalklive.com and use promo code FTL for a $5 discount. The LRN.FM's social media channels have been revamped. We've eliminated Facebook and focused on other platforms like Twitter and Mastodon, the decentralized alternative to Twitter. On our accounts, you'll find posts from multiple LRN.FM show hosts together in one place. Follow us on Twitter at twitter.lrn.fm, or better yet, move to the decentralized Mastodon social media platform at toot.lrn.fm, toot.lrn.fm. I think you'll like it.
Hi, I'm Derek J. I don't want a politician to represent me. To me, government is the idea that one group of people can coerce everyone to comply with an edict or face increasing punishments up to and including death. Despite perhaps the most noble of intentions, the best government services are a far cry from what could be provided for by voluntary interactions. Besides, the people who call themselves the government wage wars and put peaceful people in jail for crimes involving no victims. If Starbucks used some of its money to drop bombs, I wouldn't shop there. So why would I support the American empire? The empire does not require my consent.
Derek J's Victimless Crime Spree. Watch it for free and order the Director's Cut DVD at victimlesscrimespree.com. That's victimlesscrimespree.com.
You're listening to the best liberty-oriented audio streamed around the clock, on the air and online. This is the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
Welcome back. This is the Call to Freedom, and maybe you really like this show and would like to know what you can do to show your support. Well, social media shares go a long way, such as sharing us to your trolley Discord server that doubles our viewership for the day. Thanks for that. But cash goes even further, and you can do so using Patreon at patreon.com/call-to-freedom. Our wonderful sponsors there are helping us to keep the show up and running, and we honestly can't thank them enough for that. Again, if you would like to check it out, that's patreon.com/call-to-freedom. Now, we have been hit by trolls most of the day from the Arab Andy group, as we've talked about, and I was ultimately kicked from the Arab Andy server, which is tremendously hilarious to me. Anyway, you guys are welcome to call in tonight on the Twitch After Show, which will be airing at 10 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time, called Freer Talk Live. and you can call in there and say any foolish thing you want, I believe, as long as it's not a violation of Twitch's terms and service. I don't know.
Yeah. Pretty much.
If you would like to say really stupid things in full violation of Twitch's terms of service, because I don't give a flying crap, then you can check out Aria Uncensored, which will be airing Tuesday at 10 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and where I will be doing a show topless, just to give the finger to Twitch. So tune into that and call in and say the N-word and all sorts of other things you're not supposed to say, because I really don't care. That's twitch.tv/Arya DiMezzo.
That one's going to be fun if you're a troll.
And we've been discussing, but how do you troll someone like that?
Well, it'll be fun to watch.
True. We've been discussing the U.S. government and the Russian governments and their paranormal super soldiers who have used psychic mind magic to do various things.
Or say they have.
Or they say they have. They think they have. It's still ongoing, of course. The Office of Naval Research calls the program the Anomalous Mental Cognition. It's a $3.9 million program funded in 2014 to investigate the existence of precognition, which they refer to as a spidey sense. Yes, like in the comics. In 2006, Army Staff Sergeant Martin Richburg sensed something odd about a man at a cafe in Iraq. After clearing out the patrons, he discovered an improvised explosive device that the man had left behind. Whether it was instinct or something more, researchers are understandably curious to see if there's a way to trigger that kind of insight.
Training.
Yeah, it was body language, most likely.
Yeah, training, body language, that's there's very little... very little to explain there.
Poker players do this all the time. People have tells and things like that. So if you're trained to look for these tells, it's not super hard to do it. But non-invasive EEGs enables brain-computer communication for training, and that's a description of a photograph that is not actually anywhere near that photograph. But because of the stigma surrounding ESP, and really anything having to do with the supernatural, the nomenclature has changed. But the research continues, and the underlying goal remains the same, which is absolutely ridiculous. Will advance technology. This remarkable system of technology the government has developed, which includes computer technology, biotechnology, and nanotechnology. Will this rubric of advanced technology allow us to solve this age-old mystery, whether or not extrasensory perception exists biologically?
Yeah, hopefully.
And I would say that it's pretty clear that it doesn't. And one would expect that if people were aware of that, they would, if people were... I lost my train of thought. We're going to go now to Jonathan, who is calling from Mississippi and wants to talk about trolls. Jonathan, what's on your mind?
What's going on, Aria? I heard you talking about, the entire Arab Andy stuff, and I wanted to give you the entire insight and the backstory of, what happened, why it happened, and what's going on.
Okay.
Basically, Arab Andy was a Twitch streamer, on Twitch, where you're streaming right now. He was a Twitch streamer. And what he would do is he would go out in public and he'd just troll people. He'd call people stupid names. But what happened was he was streaming one day and someone donated to him. And basically what happened was somebody said that there was a bomb that was going to explode. And it was an actual clip from like a literal thing, so people actually believed it. Then since he's Arab, he looks like a normal American terrorist in the eyes of a normal American. They actually thought that he literally was going to. So he got arrested on stream. Then he was in jail for about a year and 3 months. He just got out about 4 months ago. And all of these people in Arab Andy's Discord have been waiting for a year and 3 months and have to wait until the middle of 2020 for him to stream again, because we all missed him and we all were, we were all here for him. So I wanted to give you the entire backstory of what Arab Andy is and why we're all here for him.
Okay, I mean, that's a beautiful sentiment.
Yeah.
But it is not anyone's experience with the Arab Andy group. And I realize, there's a lot to be said about carrying on his spirit in his absence and things of that nature. But I would imagine, and no disrespect meant, but I would imagine he was significantly better at trolling than his fan base.
Does sound like
it. Most definitely. Oh, yeah. Most definitely.
So that's definitely something I would like to look into sometime. Like I said, until earlier today, I wasn't even aware that Arab Andy was a person.
Yeah, he is.
But he is actually Arabic.
Yeah, I don't know exactly where from, but yes, he is Arabic, and that's actually why he got arrested, was because basically that went off, and the police didn't do anything. They literally just got a complaint and saw that he was Arabic, so they arrested him just there on the spot. Like it's on.
Sounds
stream.
familiar.
You can search it up. Yeah, you can search it up. It's a real thing.
So he got out 4 months ago, but he's not streaming again? Why not?
No, he's I think. Hold on, let me look at it. Somebody said it earlier. He's on something where he basically can't be on the internet.
Like probation, parole?
Yeah,
Okay.
probation. That'd be what it would call. He's not allowed on the internet until mid-2020. He's not allowed because apparently, since it was such a big thing and people actually thought there was a bombing, even though there wasn't, it was that bad. So.
That's tragic. I hate that for him. I mean, I hate that, he had aggression used against him, obviously. That's a tragedy. And, of course, it is the state that always does that. Or not always, but primarily it's the state. So, I mean, we have this troll going about his life, doing things, not violating the non-aggression principle, just trolling people. And someone makes some sort of bomb threat on his show or something to that effect. And because he's Arabic, he's, found guilty of it.
Yeah.
Of course.
That's certainly tragic. But, trolling does run a risk of attracting trolls. And I would think that the Arab Andy group there on Discord would have, keenly been aware of this as of April the 1st when their own Discord server became essentially unusable for large portions of time because people kept posting GIFs, like endlessly GIFs. And, I mean, that's the sort of things that will happen when you get these people and you cultivate this mindset of people just trolling without any sort of actual rules or guidelines or principles to it. They're going to end up doing things that are ultimately self-destructive of their own lives and their own livelihoods, or just their own hobbies, like the Discord server becoming unusable for large periods of time, or with Arab Andy being trolled by someone with a bomb threat, and tragically, absolutely tragically, I'm not saying he deserved it, but tragically having aggression used against him by the state because of something a troll did. I mean, it's something that you guys should actually be able to understand because all of the pedophilia allegations that Ian are the sources are from trolls that he bothered never to refute because they were from trolls and they were pointless, stupid allegations, right?
Yeah.
Right. And ultimately, this led to an FBI raid in the same way that Arab Andy was arrested as a result of this trolling bomb threat.
I mean, basically, to put it, Ian got swatted. That's pretty much what happened.
I would agree. That's definitely a good characterization of it. He got swatted, and luckily no one was hurt. Lots of property was stolen, and it seems unlikely that the property is ever going to be returned. But, if you really want to discuss that further, you should tune in to Free Talk Live, which takes calls regularly, or even better, listen tonight to Freer Talk. I don't want to say even better, but listen tonight to Freer Talk Live, which is coming on at 10 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time, where it will be Free Talk Live, but totally uncensored. Your calls are welcome. Stay tuned. Free Talk Live is coming up next.
On Free Talk Live, we're bringing people to the ideas of liberty every day. From wrestling superstars like Glenn Jacobs.
You guys really are having an impact, I believe. Like I said, a lot of